Hey, hey, looks like we should be live now. I see Mario already here in the chat. Welcome to the party, friend.
Hello, friends.
You've got myself, Rashiko, here alongside Literary
Hey,
Firearms.
that's me.
And we are going to be rocking the good times here for the big ol' fancy tournament we got going down today. We have the Outlaw Skirmish.
So it's a fun twist on the usual double elims stage striking format. You're using outlaw rules today and having a bunch of the band stages. We've got a pretty decent turnout. So it looks like we've got 12 players lining up today.
But hopefully you're all having a good time out there. We are going to be doing our best to manage a little bit of things on who we're going to get on stream here. Literary, do we know who's coming in for the first one?
Not yet. So, suppose we get to pick whoever we want.
We sure do, and we have a channel specifically for us over on Era's server in order to find those people, don't we? Let's see how things are going down there. We've got a quick rundown going down. Era is starting to get everybody plugged in and ready to roll. And we've got 2 people pinged, waiting for them to get in here on our lobby. Hey, Goomba, how's it going?
Hi, Goomba.
I'm glad you and Dino have been having a good time on your own thing. Bracket is not confirmed yet. All right. Well, we'll figure that out eventually then. Hey, we got Sora coming in here with the rest of your crew as well. Thanks for bringing the friends
Thanks
over.
for the host.
I
The
know
shuffle of all of your peeps.
Yeah, I know you've been having a good time over there with what you've been up to. Looking forward to having you and your crowd plug in here and get ready for the tournament time. We are doing good, Flesh. Life is good, and we are ready for some fun times to be happening here today.
Should be an exciting thing. I am hyped to see some competitive matches on these stages. They're fun stages.
They are, and there is a
Let's see.
lot of actual play potential available for these stages
but-
that is often overlooked.
That works on this background, more or less.
You know, Squiddy, yes, we will be. We just gotta figure out how to get ourselves over onto the right display in order to type that in.
For what are we doing?
Casual Arms.
Oh, the ping notification.
Yeah, that'd be the one. That's what we're looking for.
Handle that.
We are getting that typed up as we speak. So yes, we are on the ball with that. We're just running a little bit behind and getting stuff plugged in for this one.
I was working until like 30 minutes ago, so bit of a quick transition on my end.
And the chat screams YEEHAW out there. We can get some. Do we have any of that? Does anyone have access to that really awkward Stargate YEEHAW clip? Oh, that would be amusing. But we are just waiting for the final details to lay in on what the bracket is going to look like, and then we are going to select one match from each round of the tournament in order to stream it. That way things can keep moving smoothly. We don't need to lock people down for it. But we've got the hype train in here. Flesh giving us the hype train. Is that a Ronald McDonald toy train set? That is adorable. Oh, that is some fun stuff right there. You know, I never know what kind of stuff is going to pop up when I see a GIF entering the chat, and that is definitely not on my radar. Oh, well, we got some wanted posters up in the chat there. And whoever that was in that wanted poster, a little dissatisfied with the image. I think Coil is pretty happy with the image she's got posted up in here. She's looking pretty good in that one. She's looking just as crazy as she, well, is.
Accurate portrayal of her.
Hey, Mario, how's it going? Glad to have you here. And it looks like we are going live, so I just need to figure out who we're going to be rocking on this first match here. Looks like we have 11 players, and I still see Loser and Lackisism available, and I believe that was the pairing you were trying to get. So perhaps we shall go with that. Hey, we've got Era here in the chat as well. Just making sure we are reading things correctly. I refreshed the challenge page here, and it looks like the pairing we were looking for is still available.
Yeah, so hopefully we can still grab them.
Hey, Era, we are glad to lend a hand. I know we haven't really done anything on stream here for quite a while, as far as commentating other events goes. I should probably go over to the rest
Era
of the
says,
rules.
take them,
and
snatch
change
them,
those.
they're yours.
Oh, heck, that is...
Oh, it's fine. They'll pick what stage anyway, so...
No stages. There we go. Play in the void. Yes, that's how you pronounce Lackisism. At least it's how we've been pronouncing it, and we have never been corrected yet. And it
Probably
looks like we've got
it's
those.
Lachecism. Lachecism.
All right, we're just getting them plugged in here. Shouldn't be long before they are in the lobby and ready to play. And then once we figure out what stage they're playing on, we will lock that in for them and be good to go. Yeah, the NA Open was the last thing that we ever really commentated
Yeah, the
together
last,
for.
tournament stream.
But
yeah, we do other streams in the meantime, but that's all our event stuff, so...
Oh yeah, no, we do our events all over the place. Got plenty of streams
Tons
rolling
of
for
them.
those. And plenty of new stuff happening upcoming as well that we will be running streams for outside of our normal events.
Yeah,
So,
you got a new
plenty of
single-player
good
game you're
times.
going to be rocking?
I sure do.
So
We're going to
that'll
be
be a
starting
fun
a
time.
whole new community of gaming off of that.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? We got people from Little King's story that popped in, so who knows?
Yeah, that's very true. We are just waiting on the stage striking process from our members who haven't actually joined the lobby yet. Hopefully they will join us here in a moment. There's Lackisism. We've got one. And yes, Sora also going to be taking part. We are going to be kicking off a series of co-op games as well that Sora will be participating in. Good stuff. Hey, Era, don't thank us too much. We haven't even started the actual matches yet. We'll see if it's worth thanking us for later, right?
Rolling through their stage bands right now.
Loser needs a friend code. Hopefully, Lackisism can sort that out in the chat there. I don't have my friend code on hand. But
are we on
sure
your
I could
account
go
or are we on my
find it.
account?
We are
What-
on your account.
Okay, I was like, what friend code am I even sending?
So if you go fetch that off of the friend code command over on Casual Arms,
Oh,
you
that's
can
right.
copy
We have
paste
that
it
here. I
straight
was just gonna scroll until I found an event that I was hosting.
in.
There's way easier things.
It's officially Thanksgiving in May. It doesn't matter. Era is thankful regardless of
Hey.
how this goes down. Hey, our plans aren't all that secret, but the main idea is on Sunday, we are going to be rocking some co-op gameplay. But before we get to Sunday, more important things happening. We've got this tournament happening today, and if you are big on ARMS tournaments, be sure to also tune in for the Casual Scramble coming in tomorrow at
Ooh,
around this time, actually.
I smell a plug.
24 hours from now, we are going to be rocking the Casual Scramble. Swing on over to our website if you want more details for that. That is available for anyone to participate. And we would love to have all of you who are here today swing back in for that. We have eShop prizes available for that tournament as well. Hold on, just fetching some tech that we wished we had
Ooh.
on hand. Ooh, I think I heard our other
hear-
player join in there. We should be good. We just need to get
did
the
I
stage.
hear both? Okay, no, that was just Lacusism coming back, I think.
Right, Lacusism had to go accept the friend request. Squiddy, no, at the moment, the only tournament series that have pages on our website are the Scramble, the Clash, and there's a hidden page right now that's not properly linked for the cook-off. We are hoping to get all of that sorted out sometime this month, I believe is the plan, but we will see on that front. And that's our friend request right there, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that right now.
If you're interested in the Scramble, that's tomorrow. 1v1 headlock Scramble, all stages, Swiss-style tournament, so there's no eliminations. Gonna hang out and get a chance to win eShop prizes. But that's tomorrow. This is today.
I love how that perfectly blocks the stage list.
I know, it's really convenient. I was like, oh, that works.
All right,
Sorry.
friend requests should be accepted. We should be getting them plugged in here any moment now.
Right, and once we hear him get in there, we can swap over.
Era just now noticing the title says YEEHAW!
I thought I'd have fun with it.
All right, now we've got both of them in here. We just have to figure out what stage was selected from our players here and get the
They were
scoreboard.
still deciding their final thing, so I'm working on the scoreboard.
All right.
Currently lists us, which is not accurate.
That is not
so
accurate
after the
at
NA
all.
Open, I realized that we actually already had overlay material for scoring. So should have used that before.
But it's all good. We're making changes as we go, getting stuff better and more polished with each iteration of tournaments that we commentate. We have a lot of practice with streaming the regular events now, but tournaments, you know, we're still getting working on those.
Yeah, I'm learning some tricks to make it look more professional. Make us look pretty. Alright, but in the meantime...
Let's get ourselves ready here.
Okay, they are going to Redacted.
Redacted. Hey, it's already selected. We are good to go. We're just going to open up that lobby then. Boom. Making it happen. You are welcome to start whenever you want. And there we go. That is Lacusism and DJ, also known as Loser.
Yeah, Loser and Frosty share an account, so both of them will be under that.
Yep. Okay, and we've
He
got
plays
some
default
Helix. There it is. This
which
is
is
our
a loadout
Blorb
he
man.
knows super well. But we'll start here behind our friend Loser.
Now, Name Redacted is one of those stages where you might think it is just going to be a whole bunch of stuff getting in your way at all times, but especially if you've got curve arms like that boomerang and the ability to wiggle around in tower mode as Helix, you can move around those dramatically whenever you need to.
Loser demonstrating the interesting angles those blorbs can get, especially with their grabs.
And keeping up the pressure, you don't often see a Helix going in strong like this, but that is kind of what Loser wants to get done here, wants to get in close and just lay on pressure with those heavies. Working pretty well so far, too.
Really nice use of the blorb to knock down that rush, just bumping up against those rush boosted boomerangs.
Absolutely. When you see a rush coming in and you can knock down the single shot pieces off that boomerang, knowing the
That
glove
is
is
some-
off target.
Some really strong composure there, too, to have the wherewithal to just calmly beat those down with a blorb.
Oh, yeah, you do not see players being that patient very often, but the question here is whether he is going to hold that rush. It's looking like he's just going to take it into the next round.
Getting a lot of damage off of those grabs. That was some really impressive, aggressive Helix play. I can talk really good today.
But running away with that first round here, we've got plenty more to go and some opportunities for Lacusism to come back if they can figure out how to get around those blorbs.
Lacusism going double chuck to see if that kind of pressure might be able to compete with Loser's blorbs here. Let's go
Oh,
pop
we are
in
swinging.
behind. I'm trying to find the
Going
camera. There we
all
go.
over the place.
There we go. I just had to remember which buttons were which for the camera controls.
And here we are now looking from Lachecism's view, seeing what that pressure looks like close up, almost getting a hit in through that rush, but just eating the blorbs. A little bit more even here, but Lachecism is going to have a lot of climbing to do to get past this extremely aggressive Helix play.
Definitely the most unique use of double blorb Helix that I've ever seen. So I'm glad we got a chance to see this.
I have definitely seen some patient, wobbling tower blorb play off of Helixes. I've seen some low-to-the-ground deflect plays, but very rarely have I seen a player rock Helix and just dive in aerial punching
he's
blorbs.
so confident in those blorbs. You can see it. Every time he just goobers into the air and calmly just plops one down on his opponent's face.
Well, that is the score changing, so Lit's going to have to change that right now. And in the meantime, we get to go to another stage here, so the question is where we wind up for the rematch and what Lachecism is going to be thinking in order to get around those blorbs. Just need word from our players as they work through the process, picking the stages
they
one
are
by one that
banning
they
their
don't want to
stages
play.
and now have the introduction of Spring Stadium and Ribbon Ring into their stage pool. Those being our pretty chill counter picks, relatively speaking.
Yeah, we get a little bit that changes between the rounds here, so now we get access to more stages for more opportunities.
For those who don't know, normally tournaments run, they'd have 5 stages that they do a stage striking process from. And then during the second round, 2 counterpick stages are added in, so they have 7 to choose from instead.
Well, you're going to have to ask Literary for that one, Squiddy. Stage banning is a process that I have never cared enough to learn, so it is something that's beyond me.
Like, one person bans 1, the next person bans 2, and then the first person bans 1, and then they play on the remaining stage for round 1. And then for round 2, the winner bans 2 of them, and then the loser picks of the remaining 5. So we are going to Ramen Bowl by the request of Lachecism. You guys are ready to go.
All right, good luck in the ring, you two. Hopefully, Lachecism can find some ground on Ramen Bowl to make a comeback. The unique terrain available in Ramen Bowl with the extremely steep elevation changes can definitely be an avenue for getting around those blorbs, because blorbs have such an odd toss angle compared to most arms that Lachecism, if they get control of the terrain here, can potentially squeeze in under and around those. We're just going to have to see if that comes together, though.
Lachecism getting a boomerang charge off thanks to the long distance on Ramen Bowl.
And really planning to use that boomerang to at least just keep Helix out of tower, not letting him get comfortable, because if he stays in tower, he will eat a boomerang.
And the curves of Ramen Bowl really making that Helix find his way in, which he manages to do with one of those sneaky blorb grabs.
He sure does, and he is keeping up the aggression, pushing forward constantly.
Ooh, but Lachecism is learning a little bit how to respond, but he is keeping the pressure on with those mix-ups of grabs.
And welcome to the chat, Famitom. Glad to have you here with us. We are in the second match of this best of 3. And that rush is not going to land. That's putting Loser back in a very strong position once again, not only outclassing the weight on his opponent, but controlling the pace of this round by just running in forward, throwing out those heavies, and keeping pressure on. Lachecism has constantly had to be maneuvering out of the way of these punches with no real opportunity to pick a pace of their
Helix's
own.
unpredictable movement behind those bouncing blorbs is a lot to adapt to really quickly here.
Now, you might look at this and think, oh, we've got a guy who's just jumping in and then double punching every step of the way, but he is making it work. He knows where those blorbs need to be.
And he is spacing his blorbs really well. He knows when he can and can't get away with throwing them both out at the same time. When he can get away with throwing a grab. And Helix's slippery movement making it a lot safer for him to do that.
Now we're going double roaster, though. Lachecism hoping maybe something a bit straighter and faster can do the job that the boomerang wasn't. Not the pick that I would have made on that front, but I hope it works out. Ooh.
Ouch, nice counter rush from Loser there.
Very, very nice counter rush. That is going to lock this into an extreme disadvantage for Lachecism to climb back out of again.
Lachecism gets a knockdown and gets a chance to charge up that Dragon Arm Roaster.
But the 1-2s from these Blorbs just constantly coming in, and Lachecism forced once again to get distance. This is coming down to the last Blorb here. Loser just looking for one final tap. Can Lachecism climb out of this? I believe this is last chance here. Otherwise, it is the end of this matchup.
Some pushback here. Lachecism is being patient, watching those Blorbs, trying to sneak in one of those roasters, get a knockdown. Manages to get 80 damage off of the rush. Not bad.
That's a part of it. You just got a few more hits you gotta land.
Helps to reset the pacing a little bit.
Oh, but that rush is on target. Nah, Sora, those grabs were legit. Watching them from here, I can attest.
That's just what Blorb grabs look like. And sometimes when you throw grabs at min-mins, they do not land the way you might like. But that does put the round to Loser. Well played. Good demonstration of that double Blorb helix. That was certainly something to be seen.
And as Mario is saying here in chat, Loser also uses motion controls and thus can get some rather
I was getting
unique
that
grabs
impression, but I wasn't positive enough to declare it one way or another.
See, that's the thing about Blorbs, Sora, is in particular, especially with the larger arms, there are a lot of grabs that don't look like they're going to land on the target, but you have to remember it is not just the green beam. If your arms hit the opponent as well, that also will land your grab. And especially with big fat heavies like that, you are capable of getting some things you weren't expecting. Good to see a display of double Blorb action, though, in there. That is something that you don't see very often.
All right, so the question is, who do we want to get for round 2 here?
Well, let's see. If we pull up the brackets for round 2, we see we are starting to line those up. We could go straight from Loser to Frosty and bring Era into the show here, right into round 2, potentially. I don't know if they've already started or not, but that is definitely an option. If not, we will wait on Kumo to get their match from the round 1 process finished up.
Well, I know Frosty's matches are contingent on Loser's finishing, since they do use the same console. Apparently they are twins, which I learned recently. I knew they were related, didn't know they were actually identical twins.
And Era confirming in the chat that they have not started their round, so Era, why don't you slide on in here, bring Frosty with you, and we can just double down on the Frosty and Loser combo train today.
Alright, looks like they're kicking off with Ninja College, if they are... Okay, there's Era popping in, and I believe they should be all set. I don't mind if they do bans early. That saves us a bit of time on stream. So once Frosty gets in here, we can kick off on Ninja College, which is a fun stage.
There we go. We've got the scoreboard up and ready to roll now that I know how to use that.
Fammy saying fun in quotes. Though you'd be surprised, Fammy, sometimes being in the low ground can be really useful. Like if you are Cobra or Helix, your ability to duck under stuff is just enhanced by being underneath your opponent. Network Era saying, Ninja College is my favorite illegal stage. She is ready.
Well, it is good to be ready for the match you're about to be playing. I know I, in particular, find it really interesting playing more nimble characters on the low ground, because the people on the high ground tend to get very, very confident with what they're doing and dive in hard on their play, and if you are aware of what you're up to and they don't have too much verticality to them, you can come in below, get under their shots, and really take advantage of that low ground well.
Worries, Lachecism will probably upload this to YouTube later, so you can definitely check it out then. Sort of stuff. The casual people like to make fun of the phrase of illegal and legal stages. Just, they're playing on Ninja College, call the cops!
And yes, we will definitely let you guys know when this is uploaded. We will be sure to inform the community of that, no questions asked. But get in there and have some good times. You are in round 1 of, well, round 2.
Yeah, let's go! Frosty bringing out the Cobra. All right, do we want to start behind Era or behind Frosty?
We'll start with whoever we start behind. It should be getting us...
Bam.
Boom, we're behind Era. There we are.
Let's go.
On the low ground, looking uphill at that Cobra, seeing what we can do.
Default Cobra as well.
Hey, I respect it. Use the arms you are comfortable with, and a quick freeze into grab as Era claims level ground. Now it's a question of who tries to fight for the high ground, and it looks like Era claiming it, trying to hold what is the presumed advantage state in this matchup. And I think with these arms, that is definitely the advantageous height for Era.
That is the super interesting thing about Ninja College, is it is wide enough that you can skirt your way around your opponent, even if you don't start on the spot of the stage that you would like to be in for the rest of the match.
Yes, definitely. Unlike Buster Beach, there is room to pass the opponent with enough space to not have to be point blank on him. But Era making some dominant control here so far, but with both players having a rush available, just about anything could still happen with the right amount of pressure.
Sneaking in with some quick Cobra movement. Getting a grab that gets slowed by the Actress Aura, but still lands. Those are always rough.
That's one thing I've seen with a lot of Twin Tells. When they have Aura up, if you throw punches, they will almost always have the perfect response, but occasionally a grab catches them off guard. Era only needing one more hit, though. This is, again, a
Frosty has that rush ready. We'll see, because the Hydra, even from low ground, can be really accurate on this stage. Oh, and that boomerang lands for the final hit.
That is the end of that Cobra for round 1. Strawberries and Cream getting knocked to the low ground, and now, starting on the low ground, we'll keep the camera there. Any changes of arms to be happening here, we'll see. Looks like not so much.
Staying. Both characters ready with Rush to kick this off. Era starting off with a freeze once more, going for the grab, but Frosty was ready.
Yeah, that is, if you are frozen and you can see the grab coming and react in time, that is when you want to punch through it, but never throw that punch out early unless you have a good reason.
May get locked into one of those nasty ice chains, and nobody wants to be stuck frozen for longer than one punch is worth. Nice air rush from Era. Swinging down with that boomerang tornado, catching Frosty.
And Era is saying, you should have changed your arms, man. Landing this rush.
Catching that rush, getting some damage off, closing that health gap, but Era still has the lead.
Not a very big lead, though. That was a rush that was mandatory for Frosty to come back here, and now we are on even footing and on the same height. This is anyone's match now. Frosty making me eat my words, saying, no, Rash, these arms, these were the ones I wanted for a reason.
Warm up a little bit. Era's got Rush ready. We'll see if she closes the distance. They still got a good 30 seconds left, and Era launches the rush, but Frosty skirts right out of it.
Oh,
getting
not
only
enough
a tiny bit of damage, but that does... Oh, and
we are
that
in
turned
last
around.
Hit scenario here. This is anyone's game. Frosty with Rush and using it to lock it in. We are definitely going to that third round now. All right, well played.
Super
by
exciting
both fighters.
round.
I think we're going to see the same arms going into the last one at this point. They have
staying
been
down at the bottom of the
far.
stairs. We don't want to climb the stairs today. We'll let the fighters do that.
No, this is a lazy day. They're going to be the ones doing energy. We're just sitting back on the couch having some fun watching. Ooh, and punching in through that, getting the parries, getting the knockdowns. We are starting to see Frosty learn what he needs to do to answer these threats.
Kid Cobra's movement being very evasive and giving Frosty the opportunity to close, even when Era backs off.
Look at that close range boxing going down there, and a wounded arm will give us a full rush damage. That is 290, locking Era into a strong lead now, but that rush is coming in for Frosty at any moment.
He's in the red, so he better be careful if he wants to land it.
Interesting to see two players both using a boomerang. You're occasionally catching wide-angle boxing going down as they hit each other's
curve arm
boomerangs out to
boxing
the side.
is something to behold. A lot of people are familiar with straight arm boxing, but curves take a little bit more foresight. Ooh, and Frosty uses the opportunity of a missed grab to get that rush for 375.
Very,
Still
very
at
good
one
play.
hit range.
But this is going to be an awkward spot here. Era just trying to find the setup for that rush and not getting it.
12 seconds to turn this around. Let's see if Era can hold her lead. She is pushed down into the red, but she's backing off. She's only got 5 seconds to hold out.
Going for that defense play. All she has to do is not take a hit, and there it is.
Gotta win those mind games at the end. Looked like Frosty was ready to punch, but just a moment too late.
Holy cow, Paul swinging in here.
Paul!
The commentary is so good, he says, that it should be outlawed. Dropping 1,000 embers into the chat.
Thank you so much, Paul. We love having you around. But that does put round 1 to Era.
Yes, it does.
And we'll see where they are going for round 2.
And thank you so much for refilling our hearts here, Paul. Dropping that donation and really filling us with what we need to keep this thing going. Yes, that is Embers, Famitom. If you want to do the same, you have to plug in on Mixer and buy their paid currency. That is the donation system available here. We appreciate the support there, Paul. Very, very much. And hey, Matthias Wolfbrook, welcome to the party. Good evening to you. You have stumbled into an ARMS tournament here today, and I hope you are ready to see some good punches thrown on some unusual tournament stages.
Outlaw country. All banned stages today, but they're all legal here. You know, the Wild West is an unpredictable place with its own rules.
There are no laws here unless you are strong enough to enforce them yourself. You cannot call the sheriff in for this one. Bite and Bark cannot help you today.
Nowhere near Buster Beach. They are out of their jurisdiction.
Paul saying the real MVPs are the casual couple here on the couch broadcasting for you today. And you know, I would take that.
We are going to Spring Stadium.
I am glad for the compliment, but the real MVPs are the people putting this together and making it happen, like Era, who is working with us here at Casual Arms to make this tournament happen, and all the players, because without our players being willing to have a good time on some unusual stages, this event just wouldn't happen. All right, going into the second fight, we've got Spring Stadium here, same characters, same colors, and probably the same arms. Yep, no changes there that I can notice. Let's see if they pull anything out into the matches here that's different from the last time.
Much tighter stage this time, so we'll see if we get any hyped trampoline usage or if we're just going to be working with this small space on the inside.
I know a lot of people view Spring Stadium as just a smaller sparring ring, I've heard in the conversation, because the interior space of it is slightly smaller than sparring ring, but the stage itself, once you include those trampolines, gives you a lot more territory to work with.
Era landing a nice bunch of chillas here, keeping Frosty frozen.
Of the two players here, it seems like Era is definitely figuring out what to do with these boomerangs at close range. And
does she go for it? She goes for the Ibuki. Very slick.
That
Very
is a slick
nice
combo.
Delicious.
Beautiful stuff, Era. Very well played. Tossing him onto the springboard and then catching for the rush. That is some fantastic plays right there. That is what we call the Yabuki combo.
Up behind Frosty, who is ready with Rush, getting the first few hits of this match, knocking Era down. But that Actressora is going to give her enough time to regain her space, I think.
Now, Frosty is enraged here, so you may have seen a lot of restraint from him in the last round, Famitom, but I think moving into this one, we are going to see a little more aggression as he is fishing for as much damage as he can to turn this match around. A good grab from Era creates some distance, but it does not take a Kid Cobra long to get back in and land a rush.
Nice solid rush for 375. Era is down to her last quarter of health, while Frosty is still at 3/4. But Era's patient. She doesn't look too phased yet.
Oh, that looks pretty phased to me. That is only a few hits remaining. Even if Era lands this rush, that is going to be very difficult to win. She will probably just carry it into the next round.
Yeah, Keeping close quarters here, preventing Era from getting some of the same traction she got last fight.
That aggression from Kid Cobra is, I think, going to be the winning play. The question is whether Frosty can hold it into this final part of the fight.
We get an arm change from Era. She is switching to Tribolt. Let's see if the wide stun is going to change this match around.
I imagine she's certainly hoping it will, and already catching Cobra with it a few times here in at least one hit that would not have landed with her previous choice. And that rush will definitely land.
A nice rush there off of Frosty's jump.
Only 210 off of that, but that's enough to get a lead and start building rush again as we move forward through the round.
Using that boomerang to get some distance, but Frosty pressing and getting that full rush for 360.
And that evens out the hit points for the most part. Era making sure I eat my words immediately, though, as she is continuing to build rush and see if she can keep herself safe while applying damage at a distance.
Frosty in the red with an arm in danger. Two arms in danger. Oh, and that boomerang seals it. And that puts the round to Era. Very impressive play from both players, though, for sure.
Very, very well done. Glad we could feature both of you here on stream, but that is a 2-0 victory for Era, which will lock down the best of 3. Frosty by no means getting rolled over on that one. Fantastic to see the aggressive comeback plays in the second round.
We'll just check up on the bracket to see what's going on there. I'm guessing the other round 2 matches are going already, so they should be finishing up soon.
We will wait on one for round 3, but with our post-match interview, we see Era saying that was a scary match. So Era, I gotta say, I'm gonna bring it to you. You dealt with that pressure from the Cobra really, really well for a long time, but when he got in point blank, was that what was giving you the big fear there? Because I know that seemed to be when Frosty was getting his traction, was when he got right up in your face, and you couldn't quite shake him anymore at that point.
We do have a round that hasn't quite gone yet. I don't know if they are up for stream, though. So we will find that out in the Discord shortly here.
All right, well, Lit is fishing for another match, and in the meantime, we are talking Era says Cobra is her worst matchup. That has got to be very satisfying to walk away with a win from then. I know anytime you are looking at something that you find to be a big struggle for you, pulling off a win is just a great big sigh of relief for that. Yeah, and Frosty absolutely has some incredible pressure. When he gets his momentum going, he was showing us there that he can really keep it on strong. So who are we looking at here, Lit?
Looks like we're getting Loser and Mario on stream.
Loser and Mario, we're going back to Loser because they are alternating on the same console here.
Yeah, it works out because that way we get a round every time. And they get the hype of being on stream, showcasing these 2 Ohio players. They run a lot of the online Ohio events like the bi-weekly Procrastination. It's a tournament spread out over the course of a week so it can accommodate everybody's schedules.
Well, since that match is starting, then let's see if we can get Mario and Loser back in here. I believe Mario is already in. Fantastic.
He is hooked up with our casual events before. And then we'll get Loser back in here. They're figuring out their stage bands so we can learn where it is that we are playing in this super hype Outlaw country today. While we are setting up the scores for the next one. Lackism saying, these funky events are fun. I'm glad to hear it. Era saying, thanks for the compliment on her Twintel. Yeah, it's good to see more of Era's secondary play. So her main is Min Min, but she's been working a lot on that Twintel. So you can see she's got her comfort boomerang that she's been doing a lot of work with.
And I dare say, especially in ARMS, it is important to have more than just one character's worth of skills available to you. Some people can make it work with just the one character, but even if you're not going to hold with them in tournament play, it is important to really play with some other characters and learn their mechanics from your side so that you can know how to respond to them across the ring.
Hamma saying, howdy doody gamers. What's up, Hamaslama? Good to see you in chat.
And Era's showing it right there. The Min that she has, just not confident using that against Frosty's Cobra. And that is the reason that she went over to Twintel to try and make it work. And that's the value of having a backup, having a secondary character that you can pull in whenever you need it. Oh, Lacacism, I know that feeling. You are in a tournament and you're like, I've got a choice, I've got something I know I want to do, but you're scared to do it, so you just wind up sticking to your guns, and then you live on with mild regret afterwards.
Tournament stress can be really tough. Dino hoping for more Bite and Bark players today. We shall see, my friend.
Well, you know, the best way to see Bite and Bark be played in a tournament, Dino, is to sign up yourself and throw them in there. We have definitely seen at least one new Bite and Bark joining the casual arms community recently. I believe that was Dots just joining.
We had Dots in on Wednesday playing Bite and Bark.
And Dots is surprisingly doing really, really well with Bite and Bark. They've definitely got some room to improve and get better at their character. But they just kind of came in out of nowhere on us and started playing a really solid Bite and Bark in the community. And I am happy to see more people showing up with more skills and more characters.
We're going to be either on Redacted or Ninja College. Excuse me. They're going Ninja College.
All right, we are back on Ninja College again in this round. Well, good luck to our two competitors here. It looks like we are just waiting on Frosty to join back in again. You know, at this rate, they might as well just never leave. We're going to follow them all the way to Grand Finals at this point.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll just give them that blessing of good luck.
Emma's saying this entire video is going to be titled Arms, but I am suffering immensely because he is apparently recording his gameplay. Is that what I'm gathering there?
Yeah. I think he had a capture card and was recording his performance today.
Very cool.
Well, hey, depending on how things go, maybe we'll get the winner of this facing off in Hama for next round.
We shall see. One way or another, we are going to have another match after this, that's for sure.
Loser testing his controls a bit. He was separated from the console for a moment, got to get back into the swing of things, and then he'll be ready to go.
All right, expecting them to lock in at any moment. Their stage is selected. Their characters are good.
Looks like they're ready to go. We're going back to the stairs.
And we've got a Springman to display here out of Mario 119.
Springling.
And we will see which side of the stairs we start our play on. Literary in control of the camera is going to put us with Mario 119 at the bottom of the stairs.
That's where we live now.
Going with a Mander and Roaster to fight off the double blorb. That'll give him some nice ways to get around it and potentially punish straight through whenever he sees an opening with a quick punching glove.
These are real good for smacking Helix over on the booty.
They absolutely are. Helix does struggle sometimes to get out the way of a Mander slap just like that.
Nice use of the deflect on the blorb there. That's a tricky one to time with those bouncing blorbs.
It certainly can be. A lot of arms have a very straightforward trajectory with a constant speed. With the blorb, you have to pay attention because it changes how fast it's going with every bounce. Oh, that grab phasing through just a hair early before landing on Frosty over there. But Mario maintaining relatively dominant control over this match. The question is where these rushes that are both available will be deployed.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a feel for this Helix's movement. He does not seem very afraid. He's keeping his movement busy, but Loser ducking under that grab there, using Helix's movement to his advantage.
Oh, my apologies. That was Loser, not Frosty. That was my
Yeah,
misspeaking.
we swapped. It's cool. We use the same account. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
All right, we are down to what's looking like, what, 2 more hits? 1 more hit on Loser over here. And I think Mario is confident that he's going to find it before this round is through. Now, we know Loser is not going to be switching off of these blorbs, so we are going to see more blorb play in the upcoming round, win or lose. And that grab will lock it in for Mario. You know, Fammy Tom, I would agree. I don't think the double blorb is necessarily the strongest decision against this Springman, but this is what Loser plays. He has stuck by it this far, and I don't see him changing off of it.
Tried to knock down that incoming rush, but the flurry of the gloves was just too much for one Blorb to handle.
You would need a much heavier rush-empowered Blorb to do anything about that one.
Losers keeping the pressure on, trying to stay close.
And even though this match is going strongly in Mario's favor, you gotta give credit to a Helix who is not afraid to keep up the pressure, moving forward, laying out punches, and trying to land some damage in. He has not slowed down one bit, and I don't think slowing down would help him, honestly. The more pressure he can apply, the more chance he has of keeping Mario off balance.
Ooh, and the perfect for Mario. He really handled that threat of the Helix very well. Quite impressive.
Yeah, and our conversation in the Mixer chat talking about what a lot of competitive players are comfortable with as far as tournament rule sets are. And, you know, I'm glad to see that there is a substantial population of competitive and casual players that are ready to play in tournaments with more interesting rule sets. There were a lot of people who were not happy with the NA Open, and you know what? Those people who were not happy with that format, they just don't have to play. Like, that's their own darn
There's
problem.
tons of different events that you can participate in, so there's no pressure to play the ones that you don't think you're going to have a good time in.
That is the beauty of ARMS as a scene right now, is we have tournaments that are catering to so many different tastes that there will be something out there for you. And if you see a tournament set and you're thinking, that one's not really for me, I don't enjoy what's going down there, look around more or just ask around. It doesn't matter what server you are in. If you say, I don't like this one, I would like something more in this direction, someone will point you in the right direction because there is a tournament being run somewhere with the kind of things that you would enjoy.
And the ARMS community has a wide variety of that stuff going. So if it's not in one community, there's probably another community that has an event that will tailor to your tastes.
And yes, Famitom, that is exactly what we try and focus in on here. I know everyone gets upset in their games every once in a while, especially you go on a losing streak, but we try and keep the salt down. You know, you have something you didn't enjoy, that's fine, you mention it. We've all been there. We're there together to support each other through those struggles, not to just, whine about it and yell at each other. No one needs to be upset.
Hamma saying he doesn't like that there are players that can beat him in a tournament. Can we just do something about that?
You know, Hamma, I think I have exactly the right answer for you. We can just ban every other player except you, and you can win by default.
Then he has to fight himself, though, which could be a bigger battle than he is prepared for.
Ooh, that I hadn't contemplated before, because you have to have at least 2 people to have a bracket, so that would be Hamma v. Hamma, and I guess he would lose, wouldn't he?
Someone's gotta. Let's see, Lacacism saying, in my opinion, stages are meant to be played around. You shouldn't restrict stages based on the players. Yeah, we like to get a variety of stuff here. And frankly, when people are picking the stages, I think there's a lot of potential with all of the ARMS stages. So when players are able to decide what stage they are going to before the matchup happens, I feel like everything's fair game.
Yeah, especially with stage striking rules, there's no real reason to go too far on that, but I respect it, and everyone is welcome to run things however they want to do. We're just here because we were asked to be involved and help make this happen.
Hey, there's something to be said for knowing what stage you're going to be fighting on before you pick your arm selection. So I can appreciate that for competitive tier stuff.
Sora saying absolutely, that moment when Redacted gets in the way, you've got a big frowny face going on, and I can respect that. But it looks like we are going to Ribbon Ring. The stage has been decided, so the banter has to change gears now.
Ribbon Ring's a fun stage. I like it.
It is. I stand by Ribbon Ring being one of those stages that, without dispute, should be viable for all competitive play. It is a very fair stage with a gentle hazard that only inhibits movement and can be destroyed passively while still playing.
Punch. And when the boxes rise, they do have patterns to them. Let's see.
Oh,
it looks like
okay, we do
we
have
good?
Mario.
Okay, I think we're good. Making sure both plays are ready.
We've
Okay,
got
Mario
bad
doing the
opinions being
switch up.
declared.
Trying out Coil today. Loser struggling with the Springman, and Mario giving him a nice time to show off another character.
And Coil is a strong play here on Ribbon Ring because Coil can, just by holding jump, glide over top of these boxes and get some big elevation out of them.
Yeah, her elevation that she can reach increases if the floor under her is higher, so she can get some serious height advantage on Ribbon Ring if she uses those boxes to her advantage.
Now, that being said, the Blorb does have some good upwards coverage, so we are going to see Loser really trying to get in range and catch high ground Coil with that upward arc after surviving this rush.
But he did survive, so we'll see what he does. He's got a Blorb rush ready to go, and a Blorb is kind of an underrated anti-air arm because of that upper arc that it can get.
It is. I prefer it having a partner personally, but Loser says the only partner my Blorb needs is another Blorb.
That's it. Sometimes things are good in pairs.
And Sora, as this grab finishes the match, is saying the unpopular opinion of maybe just ban Coil, which I don't think is a direction we need to be going with anything, but I respect the sentiment. We're gonna
let's go behind Loser this time with those double Blorbs. Mario going with a full ice set. Getting frozen. Gotta go for that grab. Sometimes you just take the grab. Better than getting ice chained. Ooh, and a little dip and a block, and that rush does nothing.
I was not expecting that block to come in time there. Getting a saucy little grab in there as Loser is really trying to close the distance. But Coil is just pushing back and keeping him at bay. Mario doing great things behind the wheel of that Coil. And the block for
Getting
most
about
of
100 damage off of that rush as it pops. Ooh, and it gets an arm down, and Loser is getting some traction here with that Blorb pressure.
He is in a tentative spot here, though, low on hit points, and the enemy almost has rush. We are going to probably see that get employed here to lock out the round, if not for that grab.
Looks like Coil caught her own child and gave him a big hug, finishing off of this round.
And that will solidify that, I believe. That ends it in a 2-0 finish in favor of Mario 119. Very well played, and we are going to have to jump off the Frosty Loser train for this tournament. Now, that being said, I'm looking at the brackets, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to refresh the page there because I'm not seeing... Oh no, we just haven't finished with Kumo and One Slayer Pikmin. So we are able to go anywhere we like. I think we're going to be jumping back in Era's direction for round 3, but I'll leave that final call to Literary.
As I mute my mic instead of unmuting my mic. Looks like Kumo and One Slayer are having some issues, so there might be a delay in that department. So if we would like a match, we can probably go with Hamma and Mario.
All right, well, Mario, you can slide right back in then, and Hamma, I hope you're excited for us to talk over you. All right, it looks like we are just getting our players plugged in, ready to roll, and we will move on to the next match. While we've got a moment here, though, you know what tournament you're playing, but if you still like ARMS and you want more tournaments in the future, there is one
Scramble!
on screen for you. I will let Literary talk about that as I punch in some data here on our side.
But the casual Scramble is this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. It is a 1v1 headlock Scramble tournament. It is open to all skill levels. We do a Swiss-style tournament, so there are no eliminations. As the tournament progresses, you'll be matched up with people who had similar win rates to you during the tournament. So as it goes on, you'll be matched up with tighter and tighter matches as you get people closer to your skill level. And for each KO you earn, you have a chance at one of our 3 eShop gift cards. So everybody has the chance to go home with a prize, so long as you score at least 1 KO. But that'll be this Saturday, May 9th. For more information on that, check out our website at www.casualarms.net/scramble.
And yes, Squiddy, we are going to be plugging things. If we know about them in the community right now, we're going to be dropping plugs for them during our downtime here. Because we've got you here, we've got you on stream, and we want you to know what your options are. It is
It's
not
always good
about
to
just
plug your
dragging
events.
people.
We can't get people in if you guys don't know what's going on.
Absolutely. And there's Hamma ready to roll, so let's drop this back to our normal display. We just need to know which stage we're going to be on moving forward into the next round.
I like how our scoreboard looks today. Added some hype up there.
And yes, to answer that question, the casual Scramble is welcome to be streamed by its participants, but due to the limitations in the ARMS format, what we're allowed to do with lobbies, we cannot have a spectator stream for those. So we
theoretically
have to
could
leave it to
sit in the
players.
lobby and like guess what's happening based on the lobby overlay, but I feel like that's less interesting than it could be.
Just a little bit. Era, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how Hamma's name is spelled. I mean,
That looks right to me.
I ran the spell check on it when I was doing it, and the system was just like, yeah, there's no red underlines. It must be good to go.
We're getting a lot of Ramen Bowler Ninja College to start. People are not liking the cinema name redacted or Snake Park. But hey, that's fine. One of these days, somebody's going to Gentleman's to Snake Park, and we're going to have a good day, because it's my favorite stage.
Lackasism wanted to play Snake Park, but did not get the opportunity.
Hamma, choosing Ninja College with a little bit of regret is what I sense from that emoji.
Ooh.
But they are good to go.
Hamma saying he can't believe he is picking his least favorite stage, doing it on purpose. And Hamma bringing out some bite
He's
and bark
playing that
play.
Bite and Bark by request. I hope we get some hype from Dino in the chat.
Dino, you better be excited. There's a bite and bark on screen, ready to throw down.
Parabola. I guess we're starting at the top of the stairs because we got to go with the cops. Called
The
out
cops
to
are
Outlaw
here.
Country.
Someone called in the police. Let's see if we can get some law enforced here. Ooh, a very narrow miss there. Thought for sure we were going to see first hit and second hit off of Hamma.
There you go, switching up the angle of those boomerangs, trying to catch that Bite and Bark. Knocking down that pupper.
Hamma treating bite and bark as though the primary strategy is to get in, be aggressive, and leave bark available for some extra side punches. And that is an approach that you can absolutely make work with this character.
Hey, Bark is a good asset even when the only thing you're using him for is to tank a punch.
Or right there, when you get knocked down, and he prevents the opponent from building up extra charge while you're down.
Good boy, he's got your back.
We are seeing some good
Ready
boxing here as well. Both of these players knowing how to keep the aggression up, but managing to punch down attacks that are coming from in front of them just to make sure. And Bite and Bark does have the advantage in a boxing match.
They get 3 arms as opposed to the usual 2.
Oh, Hamma's still getting 95 out of what looks like a whiffed rush. And
Mario into the
Springman.
red, but don't count him out yet because that comeback charge from Springman could be the end of Hamma's days here.
It absolutely could. That full charge is something that you can use to your advantage really, really strong. That being
Getting
said,
a lot
here,
of pokes with those uncharged fun chucks. Both players in the red. Mario's got the rush. Is he going to use it for the end? And Hamma blocks it, knows it was coming in. He's only got 2 seconds left. He's got to hold out.
oh, but
and
he
a final
does get
grab on
grabbed.
the last second gives it to Mario.
Ooh, that is a moment he was not expecting. I think most of us here looked at that grab and thought it was going a little bit wide, but Hamma stopped moving after his first dash and got clipped by it on the very, very edge.
So let's stay at the top of the stairs so we are back behind Mario. Hamma ready with a rush. Mario trying to avoid it, but that fun chuck flurry is just too much.
Hamma getting very, very aggressive with these rushes. When he has it available, he just needs the slightest opportunity. It does not need to be guaranteed. He just wants to keep the pressure going strong and work on building another one, which he almost already has again.
He is keeping the pressure up with those uncharged arms for sure. Regular punches from Bark. are making it difficult for Mario to box all of those down, since occasionally he has to punch down Bark's punches as well. And Hama is dominating here. Mario is already in the red. We'll see if the comeback allows him to turn this around.
Single hit range until Hama finishes that off, and Mario does use his rush. Unfortunately, it hits shield, which puts Hama in a really strong position if he can wrap up this round quickly and move into the third with rush available, and I bet he is trying to fish for that as hard as he can right now.
See you later, Fammy Tom. Thanks for popping in. Much appreciate you saying hi. Hama finishing off that round, putting this at 1-1.
We are going into the final bit of this here with Hama with a rush lead, but Mario not far behind on that. Can Hama's aggression carry him through for the comeback finish? He does land the rush.
Mario trying to sneak and dash back out of that rush, but it not serving him well for this.
Just a little too close to be able to get out of range. That is going to be a nice, strong play for Hama now, building up rush once again and already halfway there.
Rush could turn this around. Hama is ready for it and gets that block up just in time.
Almost getting caught by it, but getting the block back up after the stagger. And Mario is suffering under that aggression. Hama's got the height advantage, and he is keeping arms flying as fast as he can.
Nice use of that rush defensively to knock down those incoming arms and make sure he can keep that pressure up.
Absolutely. Mario getting the comeback mode off of Springman here, though, is very, very capable of turning this around. Almost has rush charged, and if he lands that rush, that will be the end for Hama.
Hama's got some good evasion going on here, using Bite's very slim hitbox to weave around those incoming punches from Mario.
Very rarely hear anyone talking about Bite as a slim hitbox, but I respect it.
He's really thin. He's a stringy little robot.
Ooh, now that was a questionable-looking Funchuck interaction. Hama is going to need to do something. Oh,
when that
but
final
Mario
boomerang
locks
lands, given round 1 to Mario. But those were some very, very close fights from the two of them.
Let's go, indeed. Era in the chat. That is one heck of a round we just finished there. Now we just got to mark that on the scoreboard as they work on their next set of stage striking.
Hama's regret is weighing heavy as he carried it all the way up to Ninja College, only to fall at the top of the stairs. Hama saying playing arms with no abilities is a pain. That certainly is a way to play Bite and Bark.
He is probably going to be changing character with that comment, but we'll see what he decides to do moving into the next round.
Squiddy, this tournament was open to all regions. I think everybody that we got is North American, but I'm not positive on that.
I certainly wouldn't know. That is not my area of expertise.
European players were welcome to join in on this. I know it is a little late. So, up to them as to whether they are busy on a Friday night.
But now with new stages in the mix, we could wind up somewhere else. We see Cinema and Snake Park are banned, and we are going to Ramen Bowl, I believe. Hama struggling to pick a stage, but he is
Gonna get
settling
spicy
on Ramen Bowl. Someone ring the gong. We are going back to the Nintendo Ramen Shop for the second fight. And the chat calling him out as
calling
cowards.
for Snake Park. Come on. Y'all chicken out here.
The challenge has been laid out. Play on Snake Park. It's there. Even Era demanding a Snake Park play. We'll see if Hama lands the win on this. We might go to the third and see if either of them can find the courage inside.
But Hama's switching up. He's got a Ninjara out there with a similar arm set. But he has dropped the beach cops for now.
He is going for someone with, as he would say, a few more abilities available to him.
Thought Ninjala got delayed.
This is just another open beta slot, so if we lose connection, we know they're testing the server, right?
Ah, yes. What he's saying, no one likes Snake. Oh, I like Snake Park. We like Snake Park. We understand that a lot of people just don't know those sick kickflip strats.
Now, we are seeing a lot more calculated play happening with this matchup between the two of them. The aggression has slowed down a little bit, and they are all both playing at kind of middle range, gauging their opponent, looking for openings, and just throwing out test punches to see if they can find somewhere to land one that really matters.
Trying to stay on approximately even footing as far as the elevation on Ramen Bowl goes, because things can get a little dicey when you get those height differences in this game.
Ooh, and Hama just overwhelming the defenses on Mario to land that attack, throwing in punches one after another as soon as he spotted an opening to do so. Only taking 30 damage off that rush, that is an amount you are happy to see. Hama looking to be quite comfortable
both players
here.
in the red now.
They definitely are. But Mario is fighting hard to hold his ground while Hama looks to be in control of this interaction, deciding where the first punches in each of them come from and landing that final hit. Well played, Hama.
Hama using the upper lip of Ramen Bowl very well, combined with his jumps to get that extra bit of high ground advantage to let those light arms sneak in over top of the punches. Mario's getting an arm change here. He's got tri-bolt, so he's matching Hama with a glove and a tri-arm. Going for the rush, which lands for a solid 225.
And this is going to be interesting. Now they're running with effectively the same loadout. The differences between Toaster and Roaster obviously are present, but for most interactions, we are looking at the same thing between these two players right now. Hama managing to punch through and let his pressure win out, trying to catch up on that rush charge so that he can get it before Mario gets back to his second of the round, but not quite there. The threat is available, and landing it right as Hama gets his own to even this out again a little bit with the health. But Hama with that strong play available as soon as he spots an opening like that one right there.
Ooh, and just barely clipped. The try was a good arm for that rush. Managed to land the whole thing that way. And Hama takes the set.
Locking it down 2-0 on that, bringing them 1-1 on the scores in this set and taking them to their third match.
I forget which is faster of Toaster and Roaster. Mostly Roaster has a little bit more damage than Toaster, and a little less homing is the primary difference.
And Roaster does definitely fly across the ring faster. Especially when it's charged. Roaster is much more zippy.
Lackism pointing out the rock, paper, scissors. I only just now realized that's the point of those stickers. Like, thank you for revealing that to me, because otherwise I was like, I don't know why there's a pair of scissors and a happy rock. But, like, I understand. The world has been opened to me, and Mixer stickers are one less mystery away.
I do love those things here on Mixer. They bring some wonderful character into the chat, and the stickers are so much bigger and more expressive than anything we ever saw over on Twitch. It is good times happening.
As far as the details there, I'm not sure, Flesh Eater, but if you would like a more in-depth video comparing all of the gloves, check out the ARMS Tips and Tricks Twitter and their YouTube, because I know they did a video specifically comparing all the different gloves in charged and uncharged states. So that'll give you all the details that you're looking for there.
And it looks like we are going to Spring Stadium for the final one.
Spring! It is springtime here in Michigan, and it was snowing today. So, you know.
Sounds like springtime in Michigan. I'm happy with that. The more snow we get, the less I have to cut the grass. But we're going to Spring Stadium, and the question is, will we have some home field advantage for Springman with Mario coming in, trying to bring it back around and win the third?
Either
after
player
losing the
particularly excited for this stage. But here they are, ready to go.
second? Hey, it is easy to not be excited for things you're not familiar with playing on, and these people are stretching out their normal boundaries, going to new things, and really trying to get that experience broadened for them as they work it out on Spring Stadium.
Hey, all these stages except Snake Park are still in ranked, so they're still perfectly legit things that you want to practice your 1v1s on.
Absolutely. And Hamma getting knocked down here as Mario is attempting to show us that Springman on Spring Stadium is an unbeatable combination. Oh, a nice roaster predicting
nice
the
knockdown.
dash. That is one thing that you might not think of too much, but in this game of ARMS, if you think you know where the opponent is going to move to, you can catch them without giving them an opportunity to evade.
Hamma trying to rely on the block there against the rush, but Ninjara's block takes a little bit more than just holding block.
It sure
In
does.
this circumstance. Lands a
Landing
nice
the
rush.
counter.
190 with the additional grab damage for 210.
And
Getting
that
a nice
brings the hit points back
1-2.
to level after this
And a grab. That was saucy. He got mad after that one.
He sure did. And Hamma is just PO'd here, ready to lock it down.
He was mad. He was angry.
He said, "No, how dare you hit me with that rush? I am turning this around right now. I will drive
All of his
this
rage
back
at
home."
Ninjara's shield just went right to Mario's hit points.
He is going to knock this Springman down, throw him in the back of the van, and drive him over to Buster Beach.
We are going to the beach where it is legal and safe to have a fight. And the beach cops will be watching just in case anybody gets hurt. In the Wild West, we're in Outlaw country. Spring Stadium is used in Champions of the Era, so it's not too outside of the normal wheelhouse for these players,
No, it
as they are
definitely
both
isn't.
familiar with Era's events.
Mario getting a second knock onto those trampolines, third, and still not following it up with a Yabuki finish. Instead, he saves his rush for later.
Patient holding off the boomerang on that one until Hamma was secured with that glove flurry. But let's see if Hamma's rage can bring him back here. He's in the red, Mario with 3/4 of his hit points, but Hamma keeping up the aggression and the rush.
Using that rush after all, he is really trying to pull this back and not let it go into final round. He wants it to end here and now. Here on Spring Stadium in front of all of Springman's fans, he is going to bring an end to this entire man's career is his goal. And
Roaster
it was
to the
not
knee,
meant to
and he
be.
was no longer an adventurer.
All right, looks like they are going to the final fight. Will we see a change in arms? They both look comfortable with what they're using, so no, we will not.
Hamma going back to the Tri-Bolt, though, since he had the Fun Chuck last round.
Oh, he did, you're right. I saw green and stopped looking, but that has 3
Stun arm,
projectiles.
yeah. So, looks like that wide range of the Tri-Bolt is helping him a little bit more, getting those stuns for 1-2 combos. Hamma relying on the shield again, but gets boomeranged for 215 damage with the rush.
But with a rush of his own on the table, he can definitely turn this back around, diving in
Ninjara
deep.
poofing right over that punch. Very good use of Ninjara's air dash there.
Mario has been making great use of this boomerang, both to force Hamma off his footing and to land some hits when he's locked down. But he is going to need a few more of those to bring it in here. Now he has the full charge. But without rush and losing the rush charge and hit point battle, this is going to be a difficult, difficult place for Mario to climb out of. Hamma capable of locking this down with any hit. And probably, yep.
Shield will not hold. He pushes forward and gets nailed by the rest of that rush.
When you see that shield weakening and you know the rush is going to break through, you could see it in Mario's eyes. As soon as he saw those first few impacts on the shield, he knew it wasn't going to hold and had no choice but to try and parry out of it and land a hit.
Does give the set to Hamma.
Well
Hamma
played,
slamma.
Hamma. Good stuff. And a good game to both of you. Mario showing some really good Springman plays out there. Has been moving strong
for
through this
sure.
tournament the whole way.
Really good use of that boomerang and Slamamander to complement his straight glove arm.
And you got to respect someone who is set for a Yabuki combo off the trampoline and says, you know what, I've already hit with this twice. I'm just going to not confirm. I'm going to go for another setup and another one and another one, and then keep him guessing and hold the rush for continued advantage. And it worked really well for him on that round of it. And it looks like we are going to get Era and One Slayer Pikmin in here. So Hamma and Mario, if you could leave the stadium, thank you so much for that.
Already in here, she is ready to go. Which means that she will be our player on the left.
And if One Slayer Pikmin has access to any of the chats, we need to let them know the code is 100 to get plugged in here. Hopefully we will see you shortly so we can get this match started. And then after this, we will be going straight into, I believe we're at the finals after that. No, we're at semifinals after that. Okay, I wasn't scrolled properly.
Yeah, semifinals since it is a double elim. So, very close.
Folks over there in the losers bracket, moving through things, we are definitely not seeing the last of some of these players. We will have comeback trains ready. And we will probably have to roll down into the losers bracket once we finish semifinals.
All right, and we got both players in here. We've got Era and One Slayer, and they are figuring out their bans.
Let me just edit our scorekeeping here.
Hamma saying Tribal is not fair. It's totally fair. You were just using it really well. Getting good mix-up of those charged and uncharged shots. We're doing a lot of work for you, man. Do not undersell yourself. Alright, we're just updating our score here. Era and One Slayer are figuring out their stages. Era is grabbing some water because it is important to stay healthy and stay hydrated. So don't forget to get some water and do some healthy hydrating. Hydrate before you dihydrate, as Sora likes to say.
You always quote off of Sora for that one.
We do the stay healthy, stay hydrated, and then the other one rhymes, so like it's fun. I like to have both. Ooh, we are going to Snake Park. Heck yeah.
Oh, we're there. Snake Park dropping in. We are seeing it here in round 3.
Laxism was watching those bans, ready to suggest it the moment that it did not get banned. Let's go. You guys are ready to go whenever. Now, Snake Park is going to be an interesting one for sure. Considering it's a lot different than the other stages, and learning how to use the snake boards to your advantage can be very tricky.
Yes, this is basically a whole nother mode in ARMS. As soon as someone has access to a board, you not only have moving cover, but the ability to retain maneuverability with arms deployed. You can get jumps into blocks while having the board available to you. The dynamics of the game change completely when you are on a snake board, which is most of the reason why many players are uncomfortable with them. Because it is very
a lot of
easy
practice
to not be hit.
To learn how to use and also learn how to hit an opponent on the snake board. And getting knocked off the board can be a tricky state to come back from.
Especially if your opponent has quick hitting arms, like any kind of a speedy glove is usually something that can keep you off a board for the rest of your life.
But if you ever lose the board, a fun fact about where the boards go is they will drift back to their original spawns if a player is off of them for too long. You can see that one spinning over there doing that as One Slayer is trying to find his way back to it. And Era is using his desire to get on the board to bait him into a rush. She gets a little bit of damage off of.
Ooh, definitely getting a little bit of latency here, but it's nothing that these players haven't seen before and can't deal with. A nice shot.
Getting a shock and grab.
That gets you big boy buff brass mode. He is ready to lay down some hurt, but the armor wears off, and especially on Snake Park, it is less of an advantage than on other stages, because this match tends to involve substantially fewer hits being landed per second.
And to be very patient, looking for an opportunity to either get back on the board or knock her opponent off of his. Slayer using the bottom of the snakeboard very well to block some of Era's shots, and time is ticking down with both players with rush. We'll see if this lands.
It does indeed land, and Era can back off now, safely claiming that round. Very, very
Done.
good
Good
final
use
play.
of the timer there for sure, and well-timed rush.
She knew she didn't need a KO off that rush. She just needed to take the hit point lead. Now let's switch the camera over and get to one Slayer 1 over here as we go into the second part of this. Era hoping to finish it off, but we are already seeing a rush available to one Slayer 1.
And a Hydra is a nice arm on Snake Park. You can get that fire knockdown, which may be of good benefit to Slayer here. We shall see.
And the verticality available on the Hydra is helpful for when a player decides to use the snakeboard as a jump to block the incoming enemy attack. If you have a charged Hydra, you just need one of those 3 missiles to actually connect with the opponent.
And those multiple projectiles will keep pushing through even if the bottom ones get knocked down.
Era thought she had an opening for rush, but instead all she does is claim some extra distance, saying, "Back off, Brass. The lady needs her space."
Boomerang hit to knock Slayer off the snakeboard. He is trying to jump back onto it, but it was poised on top of one of those hills, making it a little bit tougher of a jump.
One Slayer 1 still trying to get back on that board, but Era says no means no. Stay down, sir. Until
one of the nice
finally
tricks
gets back.
of Snake Park is you can really bait your players when you see that they really want that board. You can take advantage of every time they try to jump and use that to your advantage.
That is a very important thing to be able to keep advantage of here, because it is effectively a pair of small King of the Hill fights. If you value that board highly, your opponent will know where you're going and can punish your movement for it. That's why some players, when they are dismounted, choose to just leave the board alone and go elsewhere, as Era did there. 2 attempts to get onto the board, and she knew it wasn't going to pay off for her, so she just takes her spacing, dismounts the Brass, and ends it with a timer win. Very well played.
Well done. Very good play from Era there. And a good attempt at a comeback from one Slayer. He had a powerful set there, but Era, I think, knew the boards just a little bit better.
That is the thing about Snake Park. The more time you put into it to learn it, the better you will be on that stage. And I know Era has played a fair bit of Snake Park.
She has definitely hosted several of our casual arms lobbies, so she has gotten her time in on Snake Park. Too many times on Snake Park, she says. She lost too many times there, and now she's practiced up and was able to take that round 2-0.
And that's the right approach. It really is. When you are playing in a competitive environment and you find something that makes you uncomfortable, double down, play it more, get used to it, and get better at it.
We are going to Spring Stadium for round 2. Slayer switch into a ribbon. So we'll see if the trampolines and ribbons jumps can do some sneaky plays here.
Ooh, now this is something that I am excited to see. We've got the Ribbon Girl swap, as Lit was just saying. That is going to totally change the dynamic of this play, whereas Brass was all about hardcore aggression. Ribbon Girl is much more often played for evasive tactics. And we are seeing a Cracker and Slapamander out here, ready with nothing but lockdowns. Or knockdowns, rather. But Era having none of that, immediately throwing Slayer onto the backboard to say,
and Cracker getting a
long
long-range Cracker hit to get a knockdown and see if he can get some space. Using those springboards to get an extra height from that jump with Ribbon Girl, she can stay in the air for quite a while, and those springboards are going to give her a lot more height advantage than she would normally get.
Ooh, that was a good angle for that grab. Era with very little to do about it, but take it, even with the Actress Aura. But landing one of her own into the Yabuki.
Getting another Yabuki. Very beautiful work there. Slayer down in the red, but with Rush ready, maybe he can turn this around. 1
hit remaining for Era. She just needs to throw out that boomerang and have it land on target, and she will be happy walking away with the first win on this.
Slayer keeping distance, trying to do some safe pokes with that Cracker. Get an opportunity to land that Mander. Using those jumps evasively until getting a chill to the knee.
And Mario informing us that Slayer mains Ribbon Girl primarily, so you can see
super
a little bit more
interesting.
comfort in the controls here. Hammer calling out Lit on something.
That's
she
not
said.
even the second. That's the second time I've made that joke today.
It is. It definitely is.
All right, we're getting similar arms from Era and Slayer switching to the toaster. Maybe that'll help a bit more with some boxing.
Needing something to push through, the Cracker is a nice arm, but Era was just punching it down a little too often for Slayer's taste. Got to bring
Era's
out good
timing
old
is really
reliable.
good here, waiting for those landings on Ribbon Girl to get those punches in. Ribbons can be very evasive until that moment that they land, and Era has shown a lot of patience in waiting for the right time to punch there. Both players ready with Rush here, getting some boxing back and forth. An uncharged hit from Slayer.
Hey, never underestimate uncharged hits. I know I am often guilty of never throwing out a punch unless I have it charged, but an uncharged hit is pretty much just as good as a charged hit. There is a minimal difference in those sometimes. Unless you got a heavy across the ring. But we don't have to worry about that here, as Era throws Ribbon Girl across the ring and says, I am going to claim the airspace. Watch me just hover. Can't do that as Ribbon Girl.
No, she can just jump. An exchange of missed grabs there. Era trying to move in aggressively with that air movement from Twintel.
Look at all
Slayer
these
being
grabs
very
being
evasive.
thrown out, though. They are not afraid to throw out those grabs, dodge around them, and then still throw out another one. There is all kinds of
We are getting
grab
out of time.
pressure.
Slayer knocked down Era and doesn't get any damage from that rush, unfortunately. But has the slight health advantage. Let's see if he can dodge this rush.
And he can.
Only one little bit of damage from it, so...
Definitely. Slayer using the rush to keep Era at bay long enough to get the health lead and bring it to timer. Very, very well played.
And unfortunately means that Era has no rush going into round 3 over here.
They are on even footing. This is back to the first round again. No charge and full hit points for both players, but this time it is the only KO that matters.
They're getting the first bit of traction here. We'll see if it manages to keep going there. Definitely using those springboards to stay in the air and have Ribbon manipulate the camera. Makes it very hard for Era to aim punches all the way up there when Ribbon is so high.
But when you get that steep and throw down a grab, as Slayer did, you notice you get very little angle of available places to target. It can definitely get in above, but if you are too close, that steepness can work against you. Rush going to be online for both players here in just a moment. There it is. And Era going for the Yabuki once again.
Got the timing on those down pat. Every time she's on this stage, she looks forward to it. She gets that extra damage from the grab for another 20 points, giving her the health lead by a good bar.
And that's what the boomerang is really for here. Wind arms are the perfect setup for that kind of maneuver. Some characters can do it off a grab, but a wind arm is just so much easier to land.
And that rush tornado makes it really easy to catch an opponent bouncing off of the trampoline.
Ooh, that was not a grab I expected to land. Very well placed from one Slayer, trying to even this up and save the rush for the finishing blow. Or
Nice
for
jump
right
there.
now.
Ooh, very careful dodging from Era. But Era has rush online again. Slayer is patient enough to back off. But we'll
Only a
have to
few
do something in the
seconds.
next 5 seconds or the round is going to go to Era.
Era with timer and health advantage. Very well played, locking in the win on that one, which will bring her the victory. That is 2-0 against one Slayer 1.
Well done, Era. And great play from Slayer. Good to see you using those two very different characters on those stages. A really versatile player, for sure. And good usage of the trampoline.
And I think that brings us to our semifinals now, as the losers bracket is underway, people finding their matches and hopefully playing through them as well. We've got people getting sorted into that bracket, and hopefully that's all moving. But Era gets to stay right here, and we're going to be calling Hammer back into the ring for some good times here in the semifinals. Both of them earning their way here. Mario confirming, yep, Twintel completely busted. Just playing against it there and totally not something he is comfortable with. Oh, that is some good times out there, though. I'm glad to see Era, who is putting this tournament together, making their way to the semifinals, and Hama, who we have commentated alongside before during the North American Open, also making it here. We've got a collection of, well, all four of us were involved in the NA Open. Era was TOing that.
For sure, yeah.
All four of us from the NA Open back here in the semifinals. That is a really exciting place to be. Era, if this is the first tourney you win, you deserve it.
I think you'll be an outlaw queen in that case.
And you should absolutely rub it in the face of every player you have ever lost to in other tournaments.
And this should be the only tournament you run. Just be like, well, this is what I excel at. I'm just gonna embrace it. We live in outlaw country now.
And remember, when you get on those stages that are not necessarily the traditional stages and you perform well on them, it's not just because of luck. It's not because of nonsense from the stage. It's because you adapted better than your opponent to what was going down. Network Era wants a trophy if she wins.
Maybe we can order you a cowboy hat.
There
Would
you go.
that be acceptable?
Network Era saying she'll take it. Cowboy hat potentially coming in.
All right, if you win
tournament.
this, I will order you a cowboy hat.
All right, Hama, time to throw.
All right.
No, we've got it confirmed. If Era walks away with the win
I will
here,
definitely buy you a cowboy hat if you win this, Era.
It's going to happen now. Now everybody wants to see Era win. Even the other people still playing in the tournament are like, no, Era needs to win this. We need to see this happen. We need photos of Era with a cowboy hat.
And I cannot emphasize this enough, haw.
I think you can emphasize that more.
You think?
I think you can.
Well, show me how to get it done then.
Well, I think you're going to have to emphasize it more. I believe in you. Go for it.
I think I need a demonstration from you.
You need a demonstration.
Really, to know good YEEHAW form.
To know a good YEEHAW form?
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to get out some good YEEHAW here. Everybody, say it in the chat with me. YEEHAW! We are ready for those semifinals.
We are ready! All right, figuring out where they're going.
As soon as we get that stage locked in, we are going to be going in on the next match. As Era and Hama are just shouting at each other in Discord.
And we get a nice strong yeehaw from Mario in chat. And another one from Ladokin. There's a lot of yeehaws. Oh man, Program was lurking because he remembers the time that I screamed yeehaw over voice chat. I was... Program's like, I know for sure that Lit can emphasize it
Ninja
more.
College has been
You're
selected.
going to Ninja!
Era giving Hama the choice of Ninja College or Snake Park, and Hama selects his most hated stage once again, bringing him to Ninja College.
We're going to school.
I should really get those scores up, so apologizing for the silence in advance, but I have some typing that I am behind on.
Oh, what a little gift from Squiddy. Happy little chick. Doing the applause. All right, we will start behind Hama at the top of the stairs. He is going spring with a classic set of Toaster Tribolt. And Era's back at her main with Phoenix Toaster Min Min. She's got that gigantic bird. Hama's keeping up the aggression.
All you really need in life is one big bird, and you can make a lot of things happen. Just ask Sesame Street.
Do you think a Phoenix is what Sesame Street was going for with Big Bird?
Yeah, no, definitely. This is basically Big Bird right here. I mean, you can see Era is dressed up in the Big Bird cosplay right now
with the bright yellow, I see.
Yeah,
I see how
no,
it's going
this
here.
is just Sesame Street battles. What does that make Hama playing right now?
I don't know much about Sesame Street. Maybe he's
Who's
the Cookie
the really
Monster.
angry Sesame Street character that beats up Big Bird in a corner?
What? Well, I don't remember this part of Sesame Street very well.
I don't either, but we're watching it here. This is looking pretty rough right
Era's
now. Hama
down in the
making
red,
a
but she
good
is
plays.
determined. She has Rush online. Let's see if she gets an opportunity to charge up that Dragon Arm. Oh,
Ooh.
gets tri-bolted.
Big Bird has fallen. Someone
She is
call the
determined to
police.
get that cowboy hat, and hopefully, now that she's on the top of the stairs, she's got 2 toasters. She's ready to go.
There you go. Something
Charging
a little
up.
more consistent for her.
Yeah, those birds on the stairs can be tricky to aim with their already variable angles. But Era has Rush ready. She is punching through those tri-bolts. Hamma is being patient, using that deflect.
He sure is. There's a lot of patience from both players there.
Ooh.
Oh!
An uncharged tri-bolt doing some damage there.
And knocking you out of Rush is not something you want to have happen, especially when you landed the first hit of it already. That is a bad place to be. Era getting hit by the rest of Hamma's Rush. And taking a nasty beating, being thrown down the
bolted
stairs.
to grab.
Hamma might not like Ninja College, but he seems comfortable here. I think it's his new favorite stage after today.
Turns out Hamma just needed to go to college. It
Min
was
Min would
schooling
charge
that he
online,
wanted this
though.
whole time.
Oh!
But she is down in the red. She has Rush almost online. We'll see if she can get a turn of events with this Rush, but Hamma avoids it very well.
Unfortunate. Hamma locks that down, and I believe that puts him 1-0 so far starting this one off. He is ready to make it to grand finals. He does not want any cowboy hats.
He is going to make Era fight for that cowboy hat, but Era is saying it is not a Min Min day. So maybe she'll be switching back to Twintel for round 2 of this set. But hey, Twintel's been serving her well, so maybe that change-up will be helpful for her. Mario is not sure who to root for.
You know, I don't think anyone here is sure who to root for. Anyone here who knows Hamma or Era probably likes both of them and wants both of them to win. Unfortunately, we do not have a space for unending ties. Hamma dropping the bans on Cinema and Snake Park.
And knows that he is weak. Squiddy's rooting for Era. Mario's not sure.
Sora knows
Sora's
that he
going
wants to
Era
see a
because
hat.
hat. They are going ramen.
Ramen Bowl is the next
They're
stage
gonna make
happening.
it spicy.
Bring on the heat.
Era's saying, y'all are nice. Yeehaw.
No, Era, I hear the correct answer is that arms is nice.
Arms, nice. Hadoken is just here for the memes.
Well, then you're in the right place because Literary has memes for you and so does the chat.
Yeah, I've got like some nice 6-year-old vintage memes from Skyrim, so we're all set.
All right, Era bringing Twintel back to bear here, hoping that you can get a little more consistency out of that actress aura against Springman's deflect.
Going with the boomerang Chilla. Using that aura to respond a little bit better to those tri-bolts and getting the first hit.
First hit matters, but last hit is the one that she's really hoping for
That's
here.
true. That is one of the most important ones. Hamma trying to be patient, using that deflect, looking for good opportunities to jump in.
But when you get into that final range tier and you get to close range, point blank, you really got to throw out that punch. And Era was ready, waiting for Hamma to get too close to have time to respond.
Yeah, Era's play with Twintel is a lot more patient. She seems a lot more comfortable with this character today. She's catching all of Hamma's advances and has the health lead pretty down pat.
Making some great use out of that actress aura, making sure that she has time to respond and is safe in almost any circumstance out here.
Landing so many nice hits with those boomerangs. Hamma is already in the red and Era has barely been touched. But both players have Rush online and that can really change the outcome of this fight.
It looks like neither of them really wants to use it this round, though. Hamma might not think it's enough to turn it around, and Era is pretty comfortable taking it into the next one at this pacing.
Getting some very patient punches. Hamma is trying to keep the pressure up with those charged tri-bolts.
And there it is. They will both definitely have Rush at the start of this next round, which will change the dynamic. The question is if they pick their arms based on that or just go with what they had. I see a T-Bird across the ring.
Hamma's going T-Bird. We'll go over here. He's ready to punch. Look at him go.
And he does bring the T-Bird into the ring with him. That was not just on display. That's exciting. Question is, can he make use of it? Lock it in so he can get a rush. Or a grab. Or just a knockdown with the toaster. Any kind of punish you could want.
He's trying to throw it in, but Era is dodging it very well. He gets the rush. Finally lands the bird on that rush for 335.
That is quite the rush. That's the way you want to start this, is being the first one to knock in damage and get substantial lead on health. Era almost at
We'll
half
see.
health
Era's
now.
got that rush. She's pressing in. We'll see if she gets a good opportunity to launch it.
Hammer getting a feel for how to avoid things here.
Ooh, and the
is
shock
doing
and the
some
grab.
Great evasion.
Era is all the
punishes
way
here.
down to a third, but she has that rush still. She's in the lower part of the bowl looking for a good opportunity. Gets a grab. That'll throw Hammer off his feet.
Ooh, but the immediate knockdown again. And it is going to take a lot of climbing. Hammer holding rush now, too.
Get some very intense boxing there as we are getting curve and straight arms knocking each other down. Era getting hit with a toaster, putting her down in the deep red.
That T-Bird doing a lot of work for Hammer here. He knew what he wanted, and he is making it happen. The curve from that arm available has been saving him in many situations.
Era blocking the rush. She's got 10 seconds left to turn this around. See if it's enough, or she might just be holding on to the rush for next round at this rate.
That does seem to be what's happening. Locking Hammer down with some pressure to make sure that he can't build charge, and she is going to come into the final fight here on this with rush advantage. Now, she does need to win this match in order to make it through to the grand finals.
Looks like Hammer is sticking with the T-Bird, but we'll jump back behind Era, ready with rush.
Era confirming that it was actually Hammer who taught her how to play Twin Tail in the first place. So we are hoping right now that she can finally surpass the teacher and show him that she has learned Twin Tail and is ready to roll with her.
But Hammer using those T-Birds really well, getting the curves going in with Ramen Bowl's curvature. There's that rush. She lands it for 275. Closes that health gap.
She sure
Hammer's
does.
rush is almost online again.
But she is going to have to maintain this pressure if she really wants to take this one home. Hammer
But
safely
even if she
tossing
loses,
out
she'll
birds.
be able to make her way up through the loser's bracket if she's careful.
That's
Barely,
true.
barely blocks that rush.
And some good boxing going down there. Era is showing more confidence, which is what we want to see, especially out of a Twin Tail. If you're going to play Twin Tail, you got to have confidence.
Gotta have that poise and composure. And Era definitely has that, even in her moments of aggression, where she is landing these boomerangs and immediately following up with that extra 20 damage grab. Goes for the rush, beating down that shield. It does break. He has an arm down, but the T-Bird gives him an opportunity to grab.
Ooh, now
Both
that is a
players are
rough
down in the red.
turnaround.
But Hammer's got that comeback spring ability. So all of his arms are permanently charged. He's got rush online. Era manages to block, but her shield is weak. They've got 4 seconds to turn this around.
Oh, but that
And
grab is not
the
quite
grab
enough.
is not quite enough.
She
Very
needed
close.
to confirm into the grab,
Very
but did not
close.
land the Chilla first.
Hey Slayer, good to see you in chat. Thank you for the follow.
Outstanding play by both of them there in that final match, and that is going to send Era down into
Oh,
the
I think
losers
no,
bracket.
are we best
are
of 5 up here?
Are we best of 5 in semifinals? Am I wrong on that? If we are, just tell me. I
Okay, it
will
is best of
correct
5
this.
up here, so we have one more round
Oh, we
to
sure
see
do.
if
We are
Era
not
gets
done.
a chance to turn this around. She's just gonna do the reverse sweep.
I believe in Era on this. She is showing that she's been getting better at it. She's been learning the matchup. They've been getting closer with each of these fights, and there is definitely potential for Era to sweep it straight back on Hammer.
Looks like they are going to spring.
All right, back to Spring Stadium. We've
It's
seen some
Spring-a-ling
good
time.
fights on there. And
Looks
we have
like
seen
Era wants to land a Yabuki. That's what I think. Oh, and we're getting the Ditto.
Oh,
That's a little
the
rude. We'll
student
see.
faces the master as they both bring Twin Tail to bear in this match.
Very similar arm loadouts here as well.
Very, very
Chilla, a
similar.
curve arm, and a tri-bolt.
All right, we've got the Ditto going down for what might be the final match if Hammer wins it. Otherwise, Era starting the climb to turn it back around here on Spring Stadium. A stage that she has not lost on before, if memory serves, so far in this tournament.
But we'll see. Era's been warmed up with Twintel, whereas Hamma just switched to her.
Hamma
So we'll
has been
see
switching.
if that manages to play a factor. And very tight exchanges of these tri-bolts back and forth.
Very much so. These are both two players going for some aggressive play as Twintel. You are not seeing the patient evasion. You are seeing, I'm going to punch this through, and something's going to land eventually.
As they immediately have a very defensive, patient exchange. But both players with Rush online, we'll see who pops it first. Era doing a very good job using the boomerang to push through those tri-bolts, but Hamma lands his Rush first, putting Era below half.
So Era is going to need to follow up and land one of her own if she wants to come back on this in all likelihood.
She goes for the grab, but whiffs. Getting the rush, but Hamma gets the block just in time.
He sure does just in time. A very, very close margin on that one. Hamma feeling comfortable, but Era making sure that he has to keep fighting hard for it. Putting in a ton of aggression, only a couple more hits for either of them.
Ooh, and that extra
shield.
Actress Aura giving her the opportunity to shield. Very close.
Ooh.
But Hamma just taking that one.
Era was desperate for that final bit of damage at the end of that round, but she is the only one with rush charge at all here.
We'll
ready
see if
to go
we
in and
see
make
any
it
arm
happen.
changes as we pop over to Hamma's side for the blue Twintel.
Era is ditching the boomerang, going for the pure ditto on this.
The absolute perfect mirror. And she gets the first few hits. She's got rush ready. She can be patient. Hamma is trying to keep up the pressure as well. So we are getting these back and forth exchanges with these even weight arms. Era launches the rush. Hamma blocks and his shield is weak but maintains.
There's definitely a lot more boxing happening in this round, and both players launching rush in the same circumstances right after the boxing match turns into distance in an attempt to keep it close.
Era's shield is very weak. But she gets a freeze and a double up on Hamma. She has taken the health lead with a bolt into grab.
Absolutely. That's the kind of play you really want to make happen to turn the advantage in your favor. And Era with rush available is going to try and keep the pressure going to determine whether or not she needs that to finish out the round.
Hamma getting a 1-2 to knock her down. With Rush online, he is keeping to the air using Twintel's Actress Aura to maintain that height from the trampolines. Era throwing out a raw rush, but Hamma blocks it in time, but that does put him in the red with the chip damage.
That was definitely a get the heck off me rush. I have seen them before.
Ooh, Era tries to jump away from the rush. Takes a little bit of it, but still has the health lead for now.
She sure does. She is in position.
Oh, and a 1-2 from Hamma.
Oh, and the
Era
final
gets that
tap.
one punch
That's
to give
all
her
it
the
takes.
round, putting this to 1-1. She still has a chance here.
There is still time to turn this back around. Era taking it to the final KO before she can afford to give up any more. At this point, it is go time. She has to
she
win
is
this.
Going double Chilla.
And double Chilla may very well be the answer. Given their last boxing exchanges, two gloves will punch through with the extra weight of a medium arm.
And we'll see if it manages to pull out what she needs. Hamma gets a grab while Era is waiting to block. Both rushes are online. And Era using the rush while frozen, which is a thing that you can do, but Hamma was far enough away that it did not matter.
Very unfortunate.
And Hamma doing the same thing. But Era's shield not holding out for that one.
That's all right. Only 30 coming in through it, plus 20 from the grab in midair. This is still anyone's match here.
Era getting a freeze and an arm down, but doesn't land the grab to follow up. She is in the red. Hamma is keeping the pressure up, using those uncharged bolts to put a lot of projectiles in the air, making it much more difficult to punch him down.
Ooh, Ooh, Era really wanted one of those grab confirms, but couldn't quite find it, and Hamma manages to pull out the 3-0 victory in this best-of-5 semifinals.
But definitely fought for it the whole way. We shall see what's going on with losers bracket after this.
Now, that final score may have been 3-0, but you were there. There were very close matches every step of the way. That was by no means a runaway victory.
Hey, Mario, she still has a chance. She just has to fight her way back up from losers.
That's all right. Someone has to just go beat up Hamma now, like in person, and then he won't be able to play in the finals.
I mean, that's an option, but not what I would recommend. We are an outlaw country, but we are still practicing social distancing. So the only punching that we can do is at arm's length in this video game.
Remember, ARMS is the perfect game for this kind of situation. We are experiencing social distance fighting.
Era said she'll wear a mask and gloves because she's a kickboxer and can, in fact, literally win a fight.
Well, that being said, I think we might have to do something with some sportsmanship clauses if that did take place, but I would still pay to see
I think
it.
they're several hundred, if not 1,000 miles apart, so I don't expect that will be happening. All of our fighting will be within arms, following the rules of the Outlaw Skirmish.
That would be one heck of a kick.
Oh yeah, just in the sequel, legs.
But looking at the brackets, we have Hamma locked in on finals. That is confirmed, and Era is just waiting at the end of the losers bracket. So now we have to go back down and see who's fighting. We are getting some small delays, it looks like.
Yeah, it's like I know we can stream some of losers bracket, so if there's a match available, let us know and we can get them on stream.
I think we're going to wait for Mario's match right here, and when we see that, we will be good to go. I think the hold-up era was just the traditional Frosty and Loser alternating consoles. That's probably all we were dealing with there. But hopefully everything else is moving along smoothly, and we can get to Mario's match in Losers Round 3 here soon.
All right, well, while we are figuring that, I'm going to take a quick break so Rash can hold on to the mic and maybe plug that tournament again.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Remember, if you are hanging out here and you enjoy tournaments that are a little bit different from the traditional kind of vanilla tournament seasons, swing on in here tomorrow as well for the casual Scramble. We have eShop prizes and a Swiss format that ensures no player gets eliminated from the tournament. That means players of every skill level can both participate and find matchups with opponents that are playing as well as they are as the tournament progresses. Every single round will bring you closer to opponents that are your exact skill level. At the end of that, we also have eShop prizes available, and they are raffled out to participants with their odds of winning based on their score obtained during the tournament. So even if you get 1 KO in the tournament, you can still walk away with some eShop prizes, as well as a special role and your name plastered on the front page of our website for at least a week. That is going down tomorrow, and if you want to sign up, go to challenge.com/casualscramble17. Or visit our website at www.casualarms.net, and you can find all of the information on there. But Hamma is back here in the chat. Hamma, how does it feel managing to earn your way into finals? Does it make you proud of yourself to have removed a cowboy hat from the winnings so far? Or are you just looking forward to the opportunity to give it back to Era later? Hamma has gone silent, at a loss for words. The first time in his life he has ever been in that situation. So, Hamma, you may have tuned out of the stream at that point. But what that means is if Era wins this tournament, we have confirmed that we will be giving her a cowboy hat as a trophy. Straight out of the Casual Arms pocket. Well, we're not going to be using our Patreon funding for that or anything. That would be Literary and I, but... But that is only if Era wins, because we did not decide on that before the tournament. No, Era, it is not a joke. You have a cowboy hat on the line. No, we're serious. We will absolutely do it. See, this is the problem. Era is in control of this tournament. She's going to DQ Hammer. Oh, no, no. We don't need to push it in that direction. We're not going to stage anything here. But we are certainly going to have a good time one way or another. Yeehaw! Up in the chat, we've got another gift dropped in from Flesh Eater. Thank you for it. Network's like, Hammer left because he had an emergency, so I automatically win.
Wow, that's so weird that would happen.
Crazy.
Era is super hyped.
Hey, you know what, Sora? That is definitely something we can do. If the funding is there, we can put stuff together. Like, prizes are real. We can make stuff happen. I know we have been giving out plenty of funds for things with Casual Arms. I am happy to move in the direction of more concrete prizes as well in the future. That's something we can work.
For sure.
We are still trying. We're a little bit behind in Casual Arms on getting all the details worked out for our mascot, but as soon as we get our mascot with final art and put into things, we are going to start working out some merchandise, which will put us in the direction of potentially also putting down some fancy prizes in the future, because that will
for
be
sure.
in the works.
We can do another run of Casual Arms merch. I'm sure if Era manages to win and earn a hat, we will negotiate the details of that with her separately.
Emma straight up pretending like he is capable of throwing this entire match, just
as
giving
though
giving
Era
it
would
away.
allow the bracket to be rigged that way.
No, Era has too much confidence in herself, I think, to let it go down like that. She has too much integrity to just disqualify Hammer. I'm just laying the groundwork so you have an excuse. She will completely do this entirely by the book with no
Totally
changes.
would, of course. But like, if some happy accident happens that Hannah is just too busy all of a sudden to finish those rounds, well, I suppose things will be figured out then. But in the meantime, are we still waiting on matches? What's going on? Do we know?
I believe we are still waiting on figuring out Mario 119's opponent, because Frosty and Lackasism are currently in the middle of their match. I do not see a score reported. And we will stream Mario 119's match, and then the winner of that match going against 2 Green Luigi. We will also be streaming, and then we will go straight into Losers Round 5, and then back up to the finals. Yeah, Squiddy, it is crazy how much delay comes into life when the COVID-19 thing has dropped on the world. That has thrown everything back, and then the NA Open and the Smash announcement put everything on hold for at least a month off of that. We are just now catching back up with what we had planned, and we ran out of time for several of our Casual Arms plans, so everything is back to the point where we have several things in the works at one time, and they are all going slowly.
It's gotta be patient. Everything will get done in time. These things do take time.
That being said, we are still putting other things in the works. We've got a lot of stuff happening, and we are going to be dramatically increasing our streaming services here soon. We are working closer with members of the community who are streaming more and more of our events every week. At this point, we have more events streamed per week than those that are not, which is a wonderful thing.
Super cool, and we've had a bunch of partner streams, and that's been super exciting. Lots of people like an extra medium to get involved with the events, even if they're not available to play. So having that opportunity to talk in chat or watch the gameplay has been really nice, whether it's from our official streams or from our partners.
Now, hopefully Frosty and Lackasism's match is going well here. We are still just waiting on that one to finish. That's been going for quite a while. So we should probably check in and see if there is any issues down there. I don't know which chat to look at. Hannah saying it determines everything. Does he get the hat if he wins?
I don't know. Are we making the hat the prize, or is it just a reward for Era for not only putting the tournament together, but also winning it?
I think if we do that, what we will do is give the hat specifically to Era regardless, and then she can send it to the winner of the next tournament.
I think that's fair. It says we'll cut the hat in half.
Era saying she does not have money, so she would not be able to ship the hat next time.
Have to like run and pick it up. Just like leave it on your porch and they can stop by and
there you go. Yeah.
do a no contact delivery. Road of the traveling cowboy hat, says Hama. All right, they are moving on to round 3.
Ooh,
so we should have a match soon. In the meantime, Scramble hype. we haven't plugged it in like 2 whole minutes. So the casual Scramble is this Saturday. That's tomorrow. Holy heck, it's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. I'm pumped for it. Era's going to be here helping us run it, I believe, as she is just crazy good with TO assistance.
Oh yeah. Era is the best there is.
And play in it, she says. Dino also considering joining in on the Scramble. Oh, that's fantastic. It's always good to see all the friendly names popping in.
Oh, and Dino's
going
to have a stream up of his perspective too. Awesome stuff.
Yes, Mario, that is tomorrow. It is on screen showing you May 9th. That is the full display right now. That is tournament time.
Sounds like Mario is also down for the Scramble. That'll be super hype.
Oh, it looks like Hama actually seriously trying to figure out.
It might actually have to go.
Now, we will see how things go. It's just giving us something to be excited about and talk through here. And Flesh Eater, yes, signed up for the Scramble the day it was announced. I always appreciate when people sign up early. That means when we get to the day of and early in the morning, we can start assigning the roles, getting stuff set up in advance, so we don't have to find all of our participants in the next 5 minutes. Network Era needs the link, so I'm going to drop the sign-up link in the chat here. If I can type.
In chat. This
there
is
you
the
go.
17th casual Scramble. We have run 17 of these.
Yes, we absolutely do not need to seed for these tournaments. You can seed a Swiss tournament, but you don't need to.
Yeah, Swiss does most of the work for you. You get a few edge cases where people get different skills of opponents and end up in a clunkier run of the bracket as they bounce between different skill levels. But it usually evens out by the end of the round, so...
No, we usually get a good, I say 5 users signing up in the last 5 minutes is pretty normal.
Pretty standard. But we also plug in a little extra in the last few minutes where we're like, hey, are you not doing anything right now? You know what you could be doing right now? Playing the Scramble.
This tournament, actually, the Casual Scramble, was once sponsored by a podcast known as Mind Games once upon a time.
That is
true.
They
were looking to highlight other aspects of tournament play and really find a space that they could be like, hey, look, ARMS is a game that has some serious tournament play in ways you might not expect, with formats you might not have been expecting. Flesh asking how many people we have in the tournament signed up at the moment.
Very good
I can
question.
Go check.
We'll see. I like how he typed it in instead, even though there was a link to it in the chat that he could have clicked.
I definitely could have, but you know what I didn't do? That. There are 8 people currently signed up. We have not sent out a single ping on the server, though, so we are expecting to see more along the way.
I haven't even tweeted about it yet. I was going to do it after this or tomorrow morning.
But in the meantime, we are still in that final round of Frosty and Lackasism's fight. If you're tuning in just now and wondering why we don't have any action on the screen, it is because we are waiting on our next match. We have one that had already started that we have to wait out here, and we will be getting the next one going afterwards. And Era, no, we do not upload all of the videos that we stream, but they are available on Mixer for up to a week afterwards. We should
They last 2
start
weeks.
uploading them then.
Yeah,
2
we
weeks,
have
okay.
them all. We just don't upload them because everything takes time, and I don't have a lot of that.
That being said, we have very little going on tonight after this.
That's true. We
and
could
can
set up a
probably
bunch
get
of
to work.
uploads. We could probably upload this tonight so that way it's out right away. That'd
This
be
we
good.
definitely will. We will upload this one for sure, because this is a tournament that was run that's not just one of our normal regular events.
Yeah.
So we will upload this one right away. We also have a lot of backlog that we are hoping to upload in bulk onto our YouTube channel, which is where you'll be able to catch all of that later.
Yeah, so we'll be sure to post the link to that as soon as we have it. In the meantime, you can check out the Casual Arms YouTube channel. You should be able to find them just by searching Casual Arms on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure it comes up. Otherwise, I believe there's a link somewhere, but search us for now. And you can find the VODs for like the NA Open and a couple other little things that we've run, whether it's streams or what have you.
That's correct, Squiddy. We are very behind on the uploads right now. We're aware of that, but they will be getting out. So
yeah, we
don't
do a
worry
lot of
about that.
events, so it's kind of hard to upload during those since our connection's going to tank. And with Rashiko hosting many of them, it is occasionally tough to find good times to upload, especially big long stream videos.
And Doc and Cookies getting the shout out for giving
Hey!
ideas for this tournament. There were a lot of people that, to my understanding, were in the works making this happen from a concept standpoint, and really showing us that some of these stages can have a place in play. And I think one of the most important statements that I heard that got this off the ground was saying that something like Snake Park you don't normally want in the rotation on a tournament if you're being like hyper competitive about it, because it's a very big departure from normal play. But as a counter pick with stage striking, there's absolutely no excuse for almost any stage being in the format. When you are picking the stages before you go into them, you can make any adaptations you need to, and you can expect everything that's going to be coming. And yes, Flesh Eater, a lot of people are just banning Snake Park right off the bat because they are cowards, but not
Fearful
everybody.
cowards, little tiny chickens.
As I said, Era, not everybody. A lot of people are, not everybody. Hamma, you are a wonderful personality. I'm glad you're here with us right now. Just waiting on that round to wrap up. Shouldn't be taking too much longer. As Hamma and Era get into a fight in the chat. They're done fighting in the game, now they're fighting in the chat. There it is.
Ooh, they are roasting each other in chat, and neither of them even equipped a roaster during their last matchup. We are just chilling, hanging out, waiting for those final matches to wrap up so we can get some folks on stream.
Yeah, I don't know what arena they are in, but they are figuring it out one
Mario
way or
versus
another
Lacacism is the name that you are looking for, Era. Arena 11 is where they are. We gotta catch them fast.
Lacacism, congrats on making it through. I believe people are diving into the chat. We need Mario 119 and Lacacism so that we can get this next round underway.
All right, we are getting them set up. Figuring out who's going to join in first. Cool. We got Mario in first on the left.
All right, and we are back down to a best of 3 here, so these will go a little bit quicker on that front, potentially. And we are going to go back to the display. There are your players. We just have to figure out what stages they are playing on, and we will be rolling back into the action again. And now we are set to stream every match from here on out until the tournament is finished. That is going to be, I believe, 4 matches.
All right, and we are figuring out what stage they are going to today.
Hey, it's all good, Era. We are here to broadcast what we have available. We are glad to just chat and hang out as well. If you ever pay attention and stop in on our normal streams, our streams are all about being able to engage with the audience and have a conversation with you guys. So we are totally happy to have some downtime in the middle of an event. It is all good.
And you know, we're used to talking to each other and hanging out. Like, I've hung out with him once or twice during quarantine. It's been pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, but talking too? That's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For those who may not know and may be wondering about that, Literary and I are known as the Casual Couple for a reason. We are a married couple who have been running the Casual Arms community for, 2 years now? A little bit more?
Just about. What would that be? Because we started in December of 2017. So a little over 2 years
A little
now.
over 2 years, yeah. We're at like 2.5.
Yeah.
All right. It has been...
That's crazy. Well, Arms is coming up on, its 3rd birthday in the next month or so?
All right. We just need to figure out what that stage is. How is that banning process going? Where are our players in Arena 11?
I think they were in Arena 11 on the Discord for Network Era.
Oh, I hear Snake Park.
Snake Park? Are we going to Snake Park? We're going to Snake Park! Snake! I didn't select it. I hit the wrong button. There we go. We're ready to go!
Sorry about that. Missed that for just a moment there, but we are locked in. Your stage is ready. Get ready to play on the Snake Park. Grab yourself a snake board. Show us some sick flips.
Sick kick flips, brah!
Show us what you can do with mobile cover and
go.
the increased mobility that comes from having a snake board. Knock your opponents off, claim the high ground, and defend it so they cannot remount. We have Min Min versus Springman. Mario 119 is our starting perspective, and let's see how this goes. Who can make better use of the boards?
I must say, Amanda is one of my favorite arms on this stage, but Lacus has been going with the Min Blast. A charged Tri-Blast on Snake Park can also be tricky, already knocking Mario off the board.
It definitely can. The width of those arms are very, very good for dismounting an opponent, unless you have a heavyweight, in which case they do not get that bonus. But all you have to do is land that one hit, and you get extreme advantage once you can dismount your opponent from the board. Lacussism with just a tiny bit of jiggle there, getting knocked off the snake board, but clipping back on before finally touching the ground. These two players playing it very cautious, throwing out safe punches and trying not to get stuck having to jump to dodge. They are staying evasive the whole way through, but Lacussism with another dismount. Can they hold that pressure even with the rush happening?
But doesn't get an opportunity to
Mad respect for that.
The patience, knowing that letting off that rush, Lacussism would have lost that rush exchange.
Lacussism
held back.
Immediately jumping in with the counter rush. You activated in a bit of a panic, but finding the presence of mind to hold block even with your rush active. Mario getting a dismount, though.
True test of patience. We've got both players off of the boards. Lacussism is making their way back over to one, getting on board and landing that charged Tri-Blast.
And with
getting
10
an opportunity
seconds
to charge
remaining,
up that Dragon Arm.
That is going to be a difficult hill to climb in 4 seconds. Lacussism is going to lock that down for the first
Lacussism
point.
also using that outer rim area there to get just a little bit of high ground, which is a useful thing to do when you've been knocked off of the boards and are forced into the back corner.
It definitely is, but you have to be careful because that does put your back against the wall and you lose some of your mobility available to you. We are back on the boards going in for round 2. Seeing these manders from both players, but it's the Tri-Blast that has been the real star of the show in this match so far. Lacacism getting dismount after dismount with it and pushing through the deflect on Springman when he's on the ground.
But we've got both players on the boards. Mario with a rush. We'll see if he's able to land it. Landing a rush on Snake Park when both players are on the board, it's a bit like landing rushes with Coil. Not only because you maintain your momentum as the rushee, but the person on the board also does. Gets a little bit of damage off of it, doesn't land that Mander. Lacacism backing off.
But he did get that dismount, and Mario is looking to get in front of the boards and just play this vanilla, keeping Lacacism away and trying to claim some advantage in a space he's a little more comfortable with. Lacacism knows advantage when they see it, though,
Manages
and it's
to
called
get back on the board. Lacacism has the health advantage and the rush lead, so Mario's got an uphill climb here.
Hammer
Gets a
rooting for
dismount.
Mario, though, hoping he can climb back up and fight back against that height advantage. Lacacism gets charge and survives the rush, but those hit points are very close.
That Mander might have sealed it. I think Mario has the rush lead now. Does Lacacism have time to rush?
Oh, that'll do it! Landing
Puts Mario
the
into
rush.
the red. Well played, Lacacism. Putting
On the
round one
timer.
to him.
Dang, that is good. Very, very,
Very
well
close
placed.
match. Lots of back and forth in that one.
And that locks in the first win for Lacacism, who now has the lead, only needs one more, does not manage which stage, does not matter what stage it's on. Meanwhile, you've got Mario
King is
needing
ready to
2 in a
fight the
row.
winner of this match. He's already waiting in the lobby.
Oop, apologies, that was entered incorrectly. Ignore your display for the moment. We will fix that now. There we go.
There we
That's
go.
better.
Now it's correct. But we'll see where they're going for round 2.
As they are figuring out the stage striking here, getting ready to land in the next thing, pick another stage, and see where they're going. If Era can jump on in there, or someone who is a little bit more familiar with the stage striking rules. We have someone asking who is doing the first ban. All right.
Era wondering our setup because she's like, wait, you guys are sharing a screen in a Discord call with no echo? So Rash is hooked up to the desktop. I am speaking in from my laptop into a voice call. So, and then we're in the same room and have some fancy sensitivity stuff so that way our mics will not catch each other.
And mine does a great job of not catching hers, but Literary is really good with the mute button on her microphone and mutes it whenever I wind up talking too loudly. That way we don't get the echo, because my powerful voice just tends to carry through any obstacles to get straight onto every microphone in the room.
And a little bit of extra help from Discord's manual sensitivity controls that are blocking out any of the additional sounds we would be getting.
But I think Era is requesting that you leave the mute off for this, because she wants.
Oh, you want to hear the hype? It's like we need that like otherworldly echo with the yeehaw. All right, we are going Ninja College is what I am seeing in the chat here.
All right, there it is. It's locked in.
Let's go. And I bounce. Oh, we do not use the echo cancellation on Discord. It does not work for our purposes.
Okay, so we do have one extra player in here. I would ask, if you can, to please leave the arena if you are not one of the participants or the streamers, just so that we can maintain as stable a connection as possible for our players. I did not notice the extra name dropping in here. But that is our next player for the next round getting ready to roll. We appreciate that you are prepared and ready to go, but if there's any trouble, we will be sure to correct that for the next time. All right, Lacacism pulling out Min Min again, bringing the boomerang to bear this time. And Mario 119, Roaster and Slam.
And Lacacism's Min Boomerang, I'm sure, is something that Era can appreciate. I have seen her use Boomerang on Dragon Arm as well. It is a powerful arm when it is that gigantic. Mario is keeping the pressure up, not giving Lachecism a chance to charge. But Lachecism is having some very well-timed parries, punching down that Mander when they're in. Real close.
I am always impressed when I can see someone using a straight shot arm to knock down a curve arm. That is good boxing. Very well done. Oh, and at the very last
use
moment,
of the rush deflect.
You may not have gotten full damage out of that rush, but it was worth it for the defense play. Both players sitting at the same health now in the middle tier of Ninja College, trying to find some advantage on the other. And that's Lachecism getting Mario into the corner, hopefully managing to keep the pressure on and leave him locked down there, limiting his mobility. I imagine that's part of the plan. Oh, but those wind arms, anytime you get hit by a charged wind arm, that is distance. That is moving the battlefield dramatically each time. Oh, and a beautiful rush.
Ready with that rush again, and even got an opportunity to charge that dragon arm up, even at mid-range. Mario is down in the red, going to have to turn this around in the next 5 seconds, which is possible.
But that is
but not happening. Nice use of the boomerang there to catch that jump. Well done, Lachecism.
All right, that is some good-looking play so far. Lachecism hoping to just roll straight through this with 4 KOs in a row. But going to Funchucks now, hoping for some straight-up boxing pressure out of these. Now, Funchuck is an arm that I have never really grown to know much of the use for. I know a lot of people get great effect from it, but it's never really been in my loadout for more than a day.
Yeah, the Funchuck's tricky. It's good for keeping up pressure. Lachecism is trying to do, but it is clearly an arm set that Mario is very familiar with timing on.
Yeah, Mario knows what he is doing in responding to this, so in all likelihood, if Lachecism doesn't win this round, we are going to see a change in the arms equipped. Unfortunately, not breaking through the shield, just a little bit too long of range to be able to crack through that with the rush. And Lachecism is going to do everything they can to build up charge and have rush available going into that third fight. And that wind arm is going to bring it down to a single hit remaining, and the grab will finish off Lachecism.
Cinematic style, no less.
1-1 going into the final fight of this. Hopefully, we can get some nice finish, but that does give the rush charge to start the round. We are on even footing. Lachecism going back to what worked, bringing that boomerang to bear, hoping to really pull through with something they're a little bit more familiar with in this today. They've been using that well the whole way through. And we are seeing a lot of whiffs here. Both of these characters managing to just stay out of the way, keep their hitboxes separate from those arms. And Lachecism
landing
takes
a nice
the first
Mander.
hit of damage.
Knocking down that mid-min, uncharging that dragon arm. But Lachecism is trying to get that space to charge back up again, and right when he does, Mario gets that knockdown again.
Mario is finding out the answers he needs, staying in control of this match, trying to turn it back around, does not want to get eliminated from this tournament. Playing it very safe. But as Lachecism gets him back down here, this is where things went wrong last time. Ooh, that rush does get blocked, though, and the follow-up punish. A full rush from Mario 119 is going to put Lachecism in a dangerous position here. That is going to be tough to come back from in 30 seconds. Mario with almost a full hit point bar. Landing some hits, but keeping their distance. No big follow-ups, no big punishes. Mario just doing it one hit at a time, trying to get a little bit of damage and a little bit of damage and work it down. And is doing so very well to come back and make this 1-1. 2 matches in. We are going to go to the final fight here in Loser's Bracket.
Down here, we are still in best 3.
So this next one is the last one between these two, as each are fighting for a chance at the finish.
And we'll see where they're going for round 3.
Going back into that stage striking process, let's see what they decide on. Choose your fate. This is going to be the last fight in this round. Hopefully, you can find something you're comfortable with to play on.
Well, we've got bans on Cinema and Redacted. Cinema has been a pretty consistent ban this entire tournament.
It sure has. People
It's a
unduly
tricky stage
hate
to
that
play
stage.
on.
It is a difficult one to play on if you use your normal patterns. You really have to change up your style to play on Cinema, so a lot of people do not want to deal with that. Same goes for Redacted. Anytime you get obstacles at play, people have to adapt really hard. But we are going to Ribbon Ring for this one. Looking for what I think is the best stage available for good competition.
Ribbon Ring is a great stage, and it's really interesting how you can either use the boxes or punch them down with a single punch and clear the stage. Super exciting. We are starting behind Mario here. He is sticking with that Salamander Roaster, and Lachesis is staying with that Boomerang Roaster.
Both players know what they are doing best with at the moment, and they are going to keep using it until they are forced to not. Mario maintaining his safe distance play that he has been using well to come back from his defeat on Snake Park earlier. He has been really, really working it, just keeping distance, dashing out of the way of these hits, throwing out Manders to apply pressure once Lachism's mobility is reduced. It is solid play, and it is what you expect to see out of a Springman, is some very good fundamentals.
Keeping a good sense of rhythm here, not really giving Lachism a chance to breathe and charge up that Dragon Arm. Using the boxes to get some more space.
And
not quite getting a chance to charge up that Dragon Arm and not caring. Just trying to push in, go for a knockdown, and use that as the opportunity to get that giant Boomerang.
And there it is. Now with the big Boomerang in play, we've got Dragon Arm charged. Lachism hoping to be able to use this to gain some extra advantage, keep the pressure on, push Mario back, and land some extra hits. Maybe get that rush in play. Oh, but Mario reads the dash coming, says there's going to be an opening here, and I'm going to punish it. Very, very well done.
But the space on Ribbon allowing Lachism another opportunity to charge, but that is a big health gain to capitalize on. Let's see if they get the rush.
That rush
It's
does
not going to be
land.
enough
It's
with
not
1
enough
second,
damage.
though, unless we can get a final grab, and not enough time.
Unfortunate to see that rush go to waste there. That is going to be tough. But we see conversation in the chat here talking some good stuff about Ribbon Ring and how it's a great stage that really should be seeing more use in wider varieties of play. It is one of those stages that I have never really understood why it is not seen in more tournaments. And hopefully we will be able to see it making a comeback, getting some more highlight time in places like this. This is a stage that deserves more attention. And Lachism is a player that deserves more attention. My goodness, turning it back around, making this look like a mirror of the last fight, getting the early pressure and taking that health lead. Trying to hold on to it. They are boxing down everything. Arms colliding with other arms, clearing the battlefield of blocks, and just going ham out here. This is a brawl.
You gotta clear those blocks when you get a chance, because otherwise you can get backed into a corner in the middle of the stage if you don't mind your terrain appropriately. And sometimes those blocks are great for a little bit of cover, but other times in circumstances like this, they can really box you in.
And a fantastic rush from Lachism puts Mario into the red, now into one-hit territory. Any hit
that
will
rush
do it.
really well for when Mario was surrounded and had very few options available to him.
But Mario is not giving up. Now he is in comeback mode. He has his rush available, and he knows that opening.
Ooh, Lachism trying to avoid that rush, not trusting the shield, hoping to get some evasive movement out of there, but not paying off.
But
and
getting the final
lands
hit.
that final hit.
We're into
set
final
at 1-1.
KO of the final match here for these players. This is everything on the line.
Who is moving on?
And you can tell these players have both figured out their formula. They know what they need to use. They are not changing arms. They are not hesitating. They are going right back in for more fight time. This is some fantastic play we are seeing out here. All right, Mario taking the first bits of damage. Lachecism with Rush Online. We are seeing the aggression here. Mario being pushed back, so it looks like Lachecism has figured out whatever it is they need to figure out.
Ready with Rush, responding right away with the deflect, getting that extra bit of health damage.
Of course, the moment I say it is when Mario finds his own answer. That is Commentator's Curse, I believe, coming into play.
Lachecism still got that boomerang online. They are weaving around the shots, trying to sneak another hit in, keeping at mid to long range. Lachecism pushing in, Mario getting the shield, but it breaks. 65 damage from that rush.
Evens up the hit points a bit here. But Mario is nearing that rush once again, and Lachecism keeping the damage on, though, trying to say, I don't care if your rush is coming, I'm going to get you down low enough where it won't make a difference. That's the goal we can all hope for. It is the dream to strive for.
And gets that wind hit that puts Mario in the red, which puts him into comeback mode, but only 10 seconds to make it work for something. Lachecism trusting that shield this time. For benefit, responds with a rush.
And that chip damage will do it. Lachecism bringing it to timer, saying, my rush will be the one to decide this, not yours. That is a fantastic play.
Very close, very patient play from Lachecism, winning the round there.
Very, very well done.
Lachecism moving on in this. Good showing for Mario. Those were some very close matches, for sure.
Hammer getting salty, but pointing out that blocks can spawn behind you.
When they're gonna spawn, they do glow before they start rising up, so you gotta be paying attention to that. You can't turn your back on this stage, or you might get boxed in.
And if you see any of those blocks spawning on the stage, there are specific patterns that they spawn in. As soon as you see 1 or 2 blocks in there, you can know where all the rest of them are coming up behind you.
You can jump on top of them, get some sneaky high ground in there. There's a lot to be done with the blocks on Ribbon Ring, and
Mario,
using them. Very well done nonetheless.
Failing you, but my goodness, that was some outstanding play between the two of you, making for an extremely tight fight. We just need to get Lachecism back in here and moving on into the next round. So hopefully we will get you both plugged in. False King and Lachecism are players for the upcoming match. If you need a moment to breathe, though, I understand. That was one heck of a match out there. Very well played by both of you. All right.
Yeah, by all means, take a breather. You earned it. Get a little bit of water. Relax. Get yourself back together for the next round. Hamma saying it's kind of lame that you can get screwed while putting some pressure on. Well, that's the thing with Ribbon Ring, is you can't trust just boxing somebody into a corner. You got to pay attention to the rest of the stage because it's doing stuff behind you, and if you're not in a space where you can see all of what's happening around you, you are going to get screwed by that.
And that is absolutely the kind of thing that just puts a very small dynamic into play, but changes the mindset dramatically. Because normally, when you run in for pressure, it gives you the entire stage behind you to do whatever you want with. But Ribbon Ring says if you get in too close, you might lose track of what's happening behind you, and you might both wind up effectively backed up into a corner for it. It demands a little bit of extra awareness and prevents you from just going, I believe the phrase is, hunga bunga throw the punch, is what people have been doing.
Is that what they call it?
I've been seeing that mentioned in other channels and places.
Hamma said you can't be aware, you can't see what's going on. Yeah, you gotta stay at mid or longer range if you want to avoid that circumstance. Or you stick to the sides, because you don't get boxes on the sides. There is that gutter on the sides that you can stick to if you want to avoid the boxes coming up on you. You got to punch him down regularly if you want to keep a clear stage. It's just another thing you got to pay attention to, which I think is one of the more interesting things about Ribbon Ring and why it's such an interesting stage.
Because it does have a safe zone on that border where there is never going to be anything to pop up to interfere. So if you lose track of anything, you can always know that the border of the stage is block-free. There's little bits and
I think
pieces.
We've revealed Hamma's motivations here, because he says if he can't Unga Bunga, he doesn't want to live. There's so much to live for, Hamma. You can Unga Bunga in different spaces. You just gotta be aware of where you're gonna Unga Bunga. You can Unga Bunga the boxes down. You just gotta back off for a little bit so you can make sure that stage stays clear.
But that being said, we are just waiting on Lacacism here to get a drink of water, which I think we can recommend to everybody here. I'm going to take a break for that myself as well. Remember, each and every one of you, stay healthy, stay hydrated.
Water is super good for you. We can get some, like, wonder if I can get some good water sounds in here.
There you go. We can hear that one on the mic. And that's Lacacism back in.
Hamma saying, I want to smack whoever controls the blocks with a comically large hammer. Well, in that case, all you gotta do is equip a kablammer or a whammer, and your job is done there. You can just plow down all those boxes with a big, fat, squishy hammer. And it might explode or stun, depending on which one you choose.
You gotta love the big old squeaky hammers. From the moment I saw one of those in this game, I was like, that is just a beautiful thing. It even has the accordion plastic on it.
Yeah, it's great. And like the sound it makes when it's just like bonk, like
yes, Squiddy,
like
we
sound.
absolutely can. 100% we can. Answering the question in chat of whether we can get that on a water bottle someday, I think that is definitely going to happen.
For sure, it'd be great casual arms merch of stay healthy, stay hydrated.
We just have to figure out how to get one of these big honkin' water bottles like the one that I have.
There you go. That's what you want. The big. He's
that.
got like a 36-ounce water bottle.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but all the labels on it are completely
the line
shot.
that's listed on there is 32, and you fill it higher than the line. So.
Okay.
Hamma saying he will never forget the tourney that banned whammers because someone thought they had an infinite.
Yeah, there are a lot of stupid things that have been really stated as fact at some point in time. And it looks like we are going to Snake Park here.
They're doing Snake Time. More Snake Time. More
Ramen
Snake
Bowl
Hype.
Cinema and Ninja College were
Super
banned,
exciting.
and we are straight on to Snake Park.
It's Snake Time.
Now, that being said, Hammo with that tournament, I don't know if that was a real one or not. It looked like it may have been a meme poster.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know there was one that was run that banned explosive arms. So,
yeah,
run by a
Springman
Springman main, by no one's surprise.
A salty Springman main. But this is Twintel versus Min Min on Snake Park. Let's see who can take advantage of that high ground. False King.
Seen False King in
Lack
stream yet today, but he's a strong player that we see regularly on Casual Arms, rocking that Sparky and Chilla.
False King is no slouch of a player. It is good to see them getting some showcase time in a proper tournament setting here on stream, and I am glad to see it happening. All right, both of these players making use of the snake boards, trying to be as evasive as possible. Use that cover that's available under your feet to keep the opponent at bay, and False King jumping on top of the other snake board to assert
That's
dominance.
A way to just protect that board and really flex on your opponent. Like, I'm going to be not only on my snake board, but on yours too. Good use of the rush there, deflecting that boomerang that might have knocked him off the board.
Now, you will see that momentum in play there. That is something you have to be careful on when you are using flurry rush arms like a glove, because your snake board will continue to slide while you're rushing.
Very well played from False King, keeping up that steady rhythm of those two gloves. Being an excellent boxer, like Flesh mentioned in chat.
All right, going back in, False King hoping for a repeat performance, but Lacacism with Rush Online
going
to start
for the
this time.
double roasters, two gloves to match up with this boxer.
Struggling a little bit to find footing on that snake board at start, but Lacacism is now into the swing of things, ready to go. But False King so far has shown that he can keep his gloves on target just a little bit better in here. We'll see if that changes, though. Lacacism with the dismount.
Getting a bit of high ground from that snake board jump, managing to land a roaster. But accidentally getting the double jump and hopping off the board, that is a thing you do got to be careful of on Snake Park. Single jump will bring the board with you, but hitting the button again will take you off of it.
Oh, but the full dismount and protecting it for just a little bit there. Lacacism needs to keep control over these boards to hold this lead. And there it goes. False King defending the high ground, trying to keep Lacacism off the other board. That is what you really want to try and do. Keep the board between you and your opponent at all times. Keep yourselves locked in so that you can continue aggression and keep the pressure going. But Lachecism defending against
capitalizing
the
on that attempt to get back on the board, landing a roaster with it, but False King gets back on anyway, goes for the rush. Chip damage puts False King in the red, giving Lachecism the health advantage for now. And I believe as soon as I finish that sentence, that may have changed.
I think it did, and that rush is going to lock it in.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Lachecism still at Magic Pixel, but False King with the health lead, and that's the match.
Not quite close enough to land that final hit. It was there, it was on target, and would have done the job, but just a hair out of range. Very well played by our two competitors out here. We're going to turn the scores on now, because I forgot to do that, and I am going to add 1 point over to
right
False
now is
King.
when they're relevant, so that's the time to add them.
There we go. False King taking the lead. And now we just have to figure out, will False King be making it through to the end of the loser's bracket, or is Lachecism going to start working that comeback train?
They're going to Redacted for the next round, is what I am seeing.
I
Banning
respect
Ribbon
it.
and Ninja College, and we are going to Redacted.
Redacted is a stage where you really have to pay attention to your surroundings, and any player that can manage to do that and keep themselves under control and well-focused, using the tubes to their advantage and not getting blocked by them, that is the player who's going to walk away with the win. Some people do that by being aggressive and just getting someone locked into a corner, stepping into the gutter and going for close-range plays. Others focus on timing and curving arms. So we will see what works the best here for these two players. They are not changing their arms available. They know what they want, and they're just going to try and adapt it to this new environment. Lachecism so far keeping the aggression.
Definitely some good traction with this boomerang that is permanently charged. Gets a grab.
Oh, a beautiful grab.
False King is waiting patiently for an opportunity.
You may think you're safe when you're standing next to one of those tubes, but those grabs, if you weave them right, can go just around that bit of cover and still land a hit.
Lachecism is on a roll here, using those boomerangs to sweep around the tubes, while False King is limited to the straight action of those gloves.
The extra pressure from that curving arm is definitely giving a lot of oomph for Lachecism, getting everything they wanted out of that. And the rush!
Not letting up with that rush and finishing off the round with that.
Oh boy! That was an angry noodle girl going through that round out there.
Impressive. We are going to hop over to False King's point of view here. Sticking with those double gloves.
And it looks like we have discussions in the chat about some interesting potential formats for tournaments here. Meanwhile, Lachecism keeping up the pressure as we watch from False King's perspective.
Gets that shock into rush. Very well done cornering on that conveyor belt. Conveyor belt is a really underutilized resource because it can really help you make an approach, like False King just did there.
I often use the conveyor belt specifically to keep pressure up while still moving backwards. But every method can work if you have it used properly. Oh, a very good counter.
But Lachecism responds with a rush and gets 255 off of that. Players are very close in their health here.
False King definitely has the lead on rush charge, but it's still going to be a little while before that gets in.
They're getting tight into these corners. Lachecism is backed in there, pushed into the red. False King ready with rush.
Rush available. This is one confirm, one rush away. Will False King use it to lock in the win or just carry it through to the next round? 24 seconds remaining.
Now False King keeping up the pressure with those uncharged gloves. Very good pacing on that. And Lachecism drops that round, putting this to 1-1. And we'll hop back over to Lachecism, who is switching to double Funchuck.
Ooh, that's an interesting change. I'm not sure I know the motivation there unless they are hoping to use it in boxing exchanges here, which seems to be the case. They are going to go in hard and try and mitigate the tubes interacting at all. going in for a much closer boxing match.
Oh, lots of boxing there. Fun Trucks are very good at that. False King pressing through with the rush. Putting the health very close, both around half right now. They are backing off. False King is keeping up that pressure with uncharged arms. Lagicism getting that dragon arm charge. And a patient exchange here. Lagicism getting rush online, blocking that right away. And pushing through and breaking that shield, as Funchuck rushes are known to do. And now False King has rush online.
And breaking that shield with a Funchuck rush is
Getting
great
an
to be
arm
able to
down?
pull off, but if you are not at a point where it counts for the KO, it's just a little bit of damage.
All right, and that goes to False King.
False King locking down the win once again. That will push them through to the end of the loser's bracket. So False King, please stay with us here in the lobby. It is going to be you and Era looking for the final fight before finals.
We're going to losers round 5 with Era and False King.
All right, just need to wait for Era to slide on in here. Meanwhile, people having fights about their favorite minigames.
Minigames. Lots of interesting stuff with the minigames.
Remember, as soon as you start talking about especially the minigame modes, all of the minigames are a matter of which ones you like more. There are people who are strong supporters of every single one of those minigames. You can even see it in the chat. The moment you start talking about which minigames are actually bad is the moment you've realized that you stop caring about what actually matters.
Or passionate opinions about which minigames are the strongest.
For example, I think that Hoops, in particular, is the worst minigame available in there, specifically because Hoops is the only minigame and the only game mode in general that can say, I don't care if you earned points, they have been rejected. Whereas every other minigame at least functions the whole way through. We are going to get the new names put here into our scores on the top of the screen and blank those back out to 0-0 here. Literary taking care of that for us here.
Not have stages prepped right now.
Stages
so if you guys
are not
could
prepped.
Hold on.
We need to be informed of that stage. We do not have it on display just yet. Give us just a moment, please. As soon as we do get that, feel free to ready up, but we still need to figure out what stage is going to be used. Kosa
Okay, they're
thinks
going
that I'm
to
just... Okay.
Ramen Bowl.
Going to Ramen Bowl. You know, I'm not upset about Snake Park not being used on Hoops. I like Snake Park, but, you know, it doesn't belong everywhere.
No, the only thing we don't like with Hoops is the random bounce out, because it's just RNG. The other ones are at least involved, and when you successfully achieve an action, it is not taken away from you.
And it's also this weird thing where Hoops out of the minigames is the only one that's actually just normal gameplay missing elements. So it takes away the damage element and puts you focusing on grabs, whereas the other two minigames bring in new elements and new strategies and tactics. Anyways, we are riding in
We're
for
jumping
a fight.
in here with False King and Era. Era is going back to Min Min.
Back to Min Min. All right, I respect it. And we see a Ram Ram
with a
on the left
classic
arm here.
Dragon Arm Ram Ram.
That is some very classic Dragon Arm usage. It is a strong arm to put in there. If you can get full charge on it, that is a big honking thing swinging around the stage with a fire element. And you can do a lot with that.
False King staying to those two gloves that he knows so well.
This is False King's every time set. You very rarely see anything different out of False King. In fact, I don't remember seeing anything
He's
different
got
out
a
of him
megawatt
lately.
for minigames.
That's true. It is available. I don't think I've ever seen it in a fight
I don't think you've seen it in a fight for headlocks too,
But Era trying hard to maintain against this pressure. False King putting out some crazy good pressure against Era's usage here.
both
The
players
gloves
having rush
punching.
online. False King taking over that middle of the stage, working really well from it, giving him a lot of options as to where to go.
Different
Era
players
gets
like
his
different
shield
parts
down,
here. Oh, that is
but
unfortunate.
his arm returns in time to give him full movement to avoid that rush. False King keeping the pressure up with both charged and uncharged. Era landing a grab to get that Dragon Arm ram. We'll see if that turns us around.
Era going with a little bit of movement. Some basic movement without dashes is a really underrated thing to include into your movement. You gotta keep yourself available for evasive choices, and if you are not dashing, not jumping, you have those available. Meanwhile,
Shock
fantastic
into grab
play.
will finish this up.
Very good play from False King to take the first KO, putting him in a great state moving forward on Ramen Bowl here.
Jump over to False King for this one. See how he's doing down in the middle of the bowl. Era switching to the Retorture. Let's see if those extra pellets will be able to help, especially with the girth from that Dragon Arm. Getting all those fire elements, maybe that'll help her get a knockdown and turn this around from last time. Both players with Rush Online. Era taking over the middle of the stage. Those revolver bullets knocking down one of False King's arms. And Era keeping up the pressure. Getting a lot of work in with these light arms, because the spread on those bullets makes it really tough for False King to knock them down, even with a medium arm.
That is some fantastic use of a Retorture that you just do not see very often. Especially with Retorture compared to Revolver, the extra spread on those arms is great for damaging the opponent's arms. To see something like that happen, it's great for getting them around incoming glove shots. This is some really stellar Retorture play from Era being put out there, and major props for it. False King is figuring out a way through, though, getting a shock into Rush.
Is going to even up that health total, but Era does have Rush Online. We'll see. She gets a knockdown with that charged Retorture. She doesn't get enough time to charge up her Dragon Arm.
She's going to need a knockdown or a grab in order to get that charge out. Oh, an unfortunate knockout from her Rush is going to put her struggling into the final 10 seconds. False King found the answers he needed and locks down the win on Ramen Bowl. Very well played, False King.
Very close matches. Good use of the high ground on Ramen Bowl with that rush there. False King was able to get above the incoming rush and arc his punch down to knock her out of rush. That was very close. All right, we are banning Ninja and Redacted. We'll see where Era chooses to go for round 2.
Very nice indeed, but Hama out here rooting for Era, really hoping to see Era in the finals. Era has
saying
some
time to
work
pull out
do.
the Twin Tail. We'll see if Era swaps anything up for this next round.
Now, are we on best of 3 or 5 out here?
I think we're on best of 5, but I'm not positive.
All right, well, we'll find out one way
Best
or
of
another.
5, yes, confirmed.
It is best of 5, all right.
So they're going to spring for round 2.
There is plenty of fight left in these players, moving to Spring Stadium, and we will see what changes happen. Era sticking with Min
Sticking
Min.
with the Min.
We know False King is probably sticking to what he's going to be doing the whole way through, but Era does have some change-ups, and there they are.
Very dramatic arm selection changes. So she's got some bubs to help with the boxing. She's got a chakram that she has thrown on that left arm, it looks like, and a tribolt, which she was using earlier on today with Twintel. Going for a stun Min set. We'll see if she can get those stun into grabs. Change the pace of this compared to False King's constant pressure with those 2 gloves.
I imagine that is certainly the goal. Era looking to grab those stuns and hoping to get charge. A chakram in this situation will be very useful if it is fully charged, and if she can hold on to it for long enough. False King, meanwhile, intending to keep the pressure going. One of the more aggressive Twintel players that I have seen. False King just wants to keep his gloves in the air at all times. Landing that rush on Era and almost knocking her out already in this first fight on Spring Stadium. And there it is. A dominant set of exchanges there for False King. Era is going to have to find some answers here fast.
But she has Rush Online to kick off this match. And when she is switching to the Bubs.
Going
So
for
she
the
is
boxing.
going with the anti-boxing strat. Bubs are very good for boxing arms, so she's going to keep the pressure up the same way that False King is. Goes for that rush raw, but False King gets it blocked, so Era instead uses the time to charge up her Dragon Arm.
A very good decision there. When you know you're not going to get any damage, and it's not going to be a game-deciding bit of chip damage, good to take that opportunity, get the charge, and if the opponent does try to respond, then you continue your rush.
And charging up that Dragon Arm has given her that extra girth that has made it that much easier to box. Gets the block up in time for that rush, goes for the grab afterwards, and gets an arm knocked down.
That will disable the Dragon Arm, puts Era on the ground afterwards. So she is going to have to find a place to get what she needs from advantage state again, and does it with her rush once more.
Good use of rush to give her that space to charge up the Dragon Arm, especially on a small stage like Spring Stadium.
It has definitely been working for her for the most part, but that shock into grab is False King's trademark thing that he is fishing for. He wants to keep you off balance with those elements so he can land, grab, follows. Oh, Era defending.
Punches him out of rush, gets time to charge up her Dragon Arm to box away those double gloves. Trying to use Min Min's aerial movement so she can get in and get some extra punches in there, try to get around that constant boxing pressure.
Not quite managing to find the open she wants until that
But she does get a grab and has rush online, which could really turn this around. Gets another grab. We'll see if she can turn this around in the other 6
Even chip damage
seconds.
from this should pull it off.
Oh, and that punch gets through the rush, deflects the first punch, but not that second.
Very, very good counterplay from False King there. Barely managing to keep
Very
Era
close.
off.
Era really brought that one back around, but she may have found her answer. This is best of 5. So she does have another couple rounds to figure this out.
Kosa, I don't know what game you were watching, but the one I was watching was sick. I saw some fantastic plays out there. Era making an amazing comeback play, and then False King just barely managing to squeeze out a knockdown in that rush. As far as I am concerned, that was some sick plays going on out there, and I am very happy for it. I would have wished to see it keep going, maybe get Era to take the win on that one, push it into the third of that. That would have been great. Oh, man. And it looks like we are going straight back.
For the run back, so I think we are going to Spring again.
All right. Well, if you are going on Spring Stadium one more time, lock it in. We've got the stage loaded for you.
Yeah, if we're on Spring, we're ready to go. Hannah saying that Era would be better off with some chucks, but Era is switching to Twintel.
Ooh, all right, we're pulling out the dittos.
Day after all, she was determined to work with that Min Min, but after 2 rounds, it's clear it's not working. She does have a different arm setup right now.
And Era has been doing really, really well with her Twintel today, so this is not a desperation switch. This is a switch back to confidence as far as I'm concerned. Well done.
She's going Popper Chakram. Let's see if that light arm barrage can do some work for her. False King getting that shock into grab, getting the bonus damage from the extra hit on her way down.
She is really hoping for those extra pellets out of that popper to make it through, but False King is battering them down with his gloves non-stop, keeping them out there to defend himself and apply some pressure as well. That is what False King is known for, is his standard double glove aggression plays.
Taking her time, trying to look for a good opportunity to get in. Getting that popper hit and getting a knockdown. Both players ready with Rush Online. False King getting the freeze, but Era rushes as he tries to go in to take advantage of it.
Very good read there. Just waiting, staying open, and saying, you know what, if I give the opportunity, he's going to dive in, and I can counter that. Oh, but the grab getting countered as False King steps to the side saying, nah, you're frozen. That's where my advantage comes into play. Time for me to lock this down with my rush at any moment.
Era down in the red. She's got to be careful with False King with the rush.
And people here in the chat realizing what some of us have known for quite a while, which is False King, an outstanding player that does not get enough attention for it. Really doing the good work out here and pulling out that first KO again. We are going to switch perspectives
Jump
to
back behind Era,
who is going double
Double
Chilla.
Chilla. Let's see if a very similar set. The Chilla is going to be faster than False King's Sparky.
So there is a little bit of mechanical advantage there. False King a little bit more familiar with the things that are going down in this play experience, though, running double glove Twin Tail for so long. But Era definitely can still turn this around. We have seen close match after close match.
Nice use of the Actress Aura to respond with a grab. Era being patient.
Beautiful
False
play
King is
there.
keeping this pressure up. She gets a freeze, but False King knows he is fine to rush.
Gotta know your options, and rush for defense is a great use for it, especially when you know you get the punish after. Not
Keeping
quite
a high
managing to
intensity
capitalize
battle
on that.
here. Weaving in between glove punches.
These
Both
Twin
players.
Tails are keeping it so fierce that you're not seeing as much Actress Aura as you usually find in a Twin Tail match.
Yeah, they are keeping that pressure up. Ooh, Era moves and still manages to get the shield for the rush. False King only gets chip from that, though.
Ooh, and the
Era
double
goes for the
grab.
grab after it misses and puts False King in the red, putting this match very close.
Very close indeed. Era is not giving up at
Ooh,
any
Era
step of
turned
this
it
fight.
around. She has the health lead for the moment and gets
Oh,
around.
that is bold to grab into a grab. That is a way to make it. And as soon as she did it, she got him
That
off
was
balance.
Pure instinct there. Let's hop back to False King. Do we get any glove changes from either of them?
I think they're comfortable where they
They're
are.
staying here with these double gloves.
Era trying to become the better double glove Twin Tail. And False
False
King
King with a
starting
shock
with
into
a shock
grab.
grab. All right, rushes are starting to come online here, so we are going to see them coming in, being used as soon as there's an opening.
Both players being patient to try to find that opening, mirroring each other, one in the air, one on the ground. Era going for the rush, but False King having plenty of time to rock that block.
To rock that block. There
Yeah.
you go. But Era still managing to come back and land some hits afterwards, disabling an arm, as she is staying far more airborne. False King very rarely leaving the ground, but Era unafraid to go airborne.
Reading there why she's not afraid to go airborne. The Actress Aura that Twin Tail gets on landing is frequently enough to get that block off if somebody is looking to take advantage of that landing lag.
My goodness, though, the pacing in that boxing is intense. I am blown away by the speed of some of these close-range exchanges here. False King always managing to have his block online, though, will manage to take the win and make it through
Those were
to
some
the
very
finals.
close matches, though. Lots of back and forth, very high-intensity Twin Tail play, which is not what you often see from Twin Tails.
All right, I think that brings us into the finals of this tournament now, though. So we are looking at Hammer v False King, ready to throw
Slammer.
down.
And False King or Two Green Luigi on Discord. Impressive stuff. We'll see what they have going up here. False King jumping all the way through losers to get back up to the finals. And he was defeated by Hammer earlier on in this tournament, but we'll see if maybe all of those extra matches from losers have warmed him up and he is ready to just punch the heck out of Hammer.
Either way, some fantastic fights. Era joining us here in the chat. Thanks for giving us a great show there and for going ham on that ditto there. Rocking double Twin Tails, double gloves. That was exciting to see you bring a bit of False King's own medicine to bear in that fight. Thank you so much for making this tournament happen and really diving in to do something good.
But now the time to go ham is now because Hammer is here. We are choosing a stage.
Hammer gonna go ham in these finals. Let's see what stage they wind up on.
Fun Chuck Mash, don't fail me now. Nobody goes for heavy arms? Heavy arms can plow through gloves, man.
They certainly can. Heavy arms are an underrated part of the arms meta right now. Most of
They
the
are
better
much
players discount them
trickier.
entirely.
They are much trickier to use because of that slower retraction time. If you're very used to medium arms, they take a lot more practice.
Absolutely, but if you get the right one, and Megaton, I think, is the most underrated of all the heavy arms. People often put it at the very, very
No,
bottom
I
in
think
their
that's
tier
fair.
lists.
Compared to every other heavy arm, Megaton is fast.
It's got some zoom
It's
out
got
there.
some zips.
Like, the meatball
Big
off of a
purple
charged
zips.
lockjaw is pretty quick, too, but the lockjaw itself is real slow. And
Hope you guys are
Megaton
ready
does
for dinner,
work.
because we are going to the ramen bowl. I know I'm hungry, that's for sure. But we are not planning on ramen for dinner.
No, we are going to have to eat dinner at some point, but we are probably not
Well,
going to be
after
having
this,
ramen.
we should be. We'll see. This can't go on too much longer, since we are in the finals right now. Hama versus False King. We are going to ramen bowl, and let's go.
All right, good luck to both players. False King with a 30-point lead that means absolutely nothing.
Flesh Eater saying, Megaton's my favorite arm. It is a heavy. It's a good arm. Mario saying, heavy arms are risky but can pay off.
I've been working heavy arms into my loadout as well recently, but no one bringing them to bear here. These players do not want something that's
going
slow.
with the Lola that we haven't seen today. Fun Chuck Toaster on that loadout, seeing if he can combat False King's pressure with his glove boxing. Gloving boxes. But Fun Chuck is a very good boxing arm. It has a very short retraction time after hitting other arms, so it can be stronger than other gloves when it comes to parrying other arms. Hama keeping the pressure up, getting that Fun Chuck rush out, but False King backing up out of range, so his shield does not get broken by that Chuck rush.
Hama is a very aggressive player, so you will see him throwing out tons of punches, and when he gets rush, he is not afraid to use it, even if it's just going to hit a shield. That weakens the shield, says that player is not allowed to block my attacks moving forward. I am going to keep applying pressure, and that's Hama's usual game plan.
And it is paying off. False King is not getting a lot of room to breathe here. That Fun Chuck is wearing away at his arms, either punching them down or hitting him in the shoulder, making his arms weak. But he gets a freeze, goes for the grab. False King getting a
Kosa,
little
I'm
more
not
space.
sure on that question whether or not this would be Hama's first win, but it might be a tournament win coming in here strong at this rate.
One of these two is going to win, so it'll definitely be a hype experience nonetheless. False King down in one punch range.
And they're
And there's
both going
that
to carry
punch.
their rush through to the next round. Hama keeping the pressure on from 100% health to 0 on False King.
We'll hop back over to Hama. Lola Bops.
It's really interesting to see a Lola that is not making use of most of Lola's unique mechanics. He is just playing pretty standard Lola play, or pretty standard, like, fundamentals play out
Yeah,
here
you
with
can
his
see
boxing.
with all the characters that Hama has picked today, he really relies on his fundamentals with keeping pace, keeping steady pressure going, and really relying on boxing.
And he uses those character options when they matter, and he has a moment to really take specific advantage of them, which is an interesting way to see many of these characters played. You only see the key mechanics coming out of Hama for characters on the rarity.
False King trying to press in, trying to use those shield dashes to give him an opportunity to land a charged punch, which he does into a grab, evening up the health totals.
That's what he's been hoping for this whole time, and really wants at least one more of before this KO happens.
But he has Rush Online a little bit ahead of Hama. We'll see if he uses it. Hama being patient, using a little bit of Lola's shield movement.
Yep, he is relying on those character abilities that haven't been in play up until now, and lands the rush to lock down that first win. Outstanding pressure from Hama. Playing against False King here. False King has been putting pressure in every step of the way so far, and he just got out-pressured by Hama. That is one thing that False King occasionally struggles with, is someone throwing out more pressure than he has.
Well, that does put round one to Hama.
It most certainly does, which I am getting on that score here as quickly as I can. There it is, Hama with the first win. Remember, this is best of 5, so there is still plenty more fight left in both of these players. Lackesism wants some more fight time against Hammer. You know, screw that. I've got pressure coming in. I need to learn how to handle it. That's a good mindset, Lackesism. Don't back down. Learn what you got to do and really bring it to bear. We are going back to Spring Stadium. Good luck, players.
You know, shout out to the lobby bouncing so players know when the stages are ready because they've only ever gone in on the match once I bounce to confirm the readiness.
All right, Hammer comfortable with the arms that he had, so this is going to be the same loadouts here moving into this match. Stun into grab, this time Hammer starting it off with that combo. And immediately followed up by one from False King as well. These two players have similar things they are trying to do right now. It's just a question of which one does it first. And right now it is False King with 3
False King
stuns
really
into grab.
doing well on this smaller stage. Spring Stadium definitely letting him shine.
Hammer is going to have to find an answer here. Just don't quite know what it is yet.
Hammer not having the same space that he did on Ramen Bowl to counterbox that pressure from False King, and False King really closing the distance, giving him that first round. We'll hop over to his perspective for round 2. Hammer leading off with a rush when False King was in close, not giving him the time to react.
And you get that damage in early and can just start building back up again, which is going to be the game plan here. If he can keep those rushes to his advantage, he will take the round.
With Hammer's pressure, he is doing a good job of either forcing False King to box or by damaging his arms, which can be really jarring for an opponent and create a good opportunity if you manage to knock one of those arms down and get it disabled.
Now, we saw an opportunity for a good Yabuki combo off the ring there, but False King opting for a different approach, saving his rush and getting his guard broken
for the rush,
here.
False King trying to break out of it, but that fun chuck breaking through the shield anyway, still getting some damage off. Moving in, getting in a charge and a grab. Does he go for the Yabuki? No, he goes for the extra 20.
He is saving that rush for when it will guarantee the end, which is right here.
Shock into rush. That is the round to False King.
I was questioning it, but hey, if it works,
he knew what he was doing.
There you
so
go.
He was prepared. He knew he wanted to combo into some damage with one of his status effects. And he did that very well, and that was a very fast round.
A very fast round. Hammer just could not find the traction he needed to make that one work.
Hammer cannot believe he got chained like that. False King really put him in his place, keeping this an even fight as we move forward, 1-1.
And it's very easy as a spectator to say that a combo would have landed in a KO, but as a player, it's a little more complicated to keep track of exactly what those hit points are. And I imagine False King was just not quite 100% certain that that Yabuki would have taken him to the win and did not want to be without his rush until the match was over. He needed that rush as his safety net to ensure safe play. And it looks like we are having some considerations over whether you can have repeat stages after a win. We are not seeing an answer to that right now. Otherwise, we've got players trying to figure it out.
Just double checking some rule things before we move forward, making sure the stage selection is allowed. Don't know about any additional clauses. Mario saying that Yabuki combos can be risky if you don't have the timing down pat and you don't want to lose your rush to one of those. Besides, False King likes having that rush available for a defensive option or for when he has landed a stun from the shock arm or a freeze from the ice arm to land a more secure rush and guarantee that damage. Here, I think they'll be fine. So we're going to go to Ramen Bowl. I'm pretty sure there's not a clause about it. We can double check.
We're just going to make it work. It's all good.
All right, they are going to Ramen Bowl again. Hammer would like to go back to Spicy Land. He's hungry for dinner. And we'll see if False King's going to bring it.
You know, I'm hungry for dinner now, too.
I am hungry for dinner.
We got to wrap up this tournament, man. Land some KOs here. Make them quick.
Oh, keep it fast. I see the parabola on Hamma, but I see that he is also too much of a coward to use it. And he is sticking to that toaster fun chuck.
Ooh, did you just call out Hamma on
I
stream?
did. He loves his parabola, and he just never trusts it.
He knows what he needs right here, though.
Yeah,
he needs
yeah,
to outbox False King. Absolutely, Mario, talking about Rush, when you have Rush available and your opponent is aware of that, they will play differently. They will often play more conservatively in order to avoid getting themselves overcommitted and vulnerable to Rush. So some players will hold their Rush for almost the entire match if they feel like that extra pressure of having it online is keeping their opponent slowed down and giving them more opportunities for damage.
We are fighting in the bowl, and False King pushing Hamma back out so he can use the edge of the bowl. False King
Hamma
with
has
rush
no
online.
fear, though, and is not caring that there's a rush online. He's going full aggro every step of the way.
Wow, completely confident, ready to just shield that entire thing. Using Lola's shield movement to get in close. That Funchuck Rush is gonna break the shield, but only for 45 damage. But that still gives Hamma the opportunity to move in close again. They are battling on the edge of the bowl. Hamma down in the red. False King with Rush online. Hamma better be careful and keep up the pressure with that Toaster and Funchuck. But False King able to control the distance since he is in the middle of the bowl.
Ooh, now that rush,
pressure,
any
putting him
chip
in the
damage
red.
would do it.
A freeze adding a bit of uncertainty to this. And Hamma not getting enough time to get that damage in, and False King taking the round.
Ooh, boy, I was expecting Hamma to go for chip damage there to lock that in, but he wanted to save the rush for this round. We are in grand finals, and we are 1-1 in them. This is best of 5, so these players need 2
Oh, and
more
he
wins
pulled out the
each.
parabola. He heard my challenge.
He sure did, and
And
immediately
it did
makes
give him
work.
330 damage on the rush. Parabola is an interesting arm. It is good for close range boxing, and then you can also leave it out and perhaps catch an opponent unawares. Hamma keeping up the pressure. False King keeping up the pressure on his end as well. Got a lot of boxing.
A lot of boxing. These players have spent most of these matches punching down each other's gloves.
The curving on that parabola making it occasionally difficult for False King to punch down as it gets some funny angles over there. And another rush doing a pile of damage to False King, putting him down in the red while Hamma is still well above half.
Yeah, the curve on that parabola is doing some great things for Hamma, occasionally getting around the incoming boxing match and still clapping False on the side.
Turns out to be a very useful arm, it looks like. I'm glad that the arm change has done Hamma well. Very impressive stuff.
All right, we are going into the final KO of this match. Let's see if that parabola takes him both of the ways through this, or whether False King can figure out an answer and
False
push
King
back.
lands his rush for 275. Hamma ready with his rush to respond. Getting a shock off the parabola as that arm just kept creeping in.
It really does. You have to respect the parabola when it is in the air moving towards you. If you do not block it or get out of the way, you got to punch it down because it will hunt you down. It will find where you live, and it will catch you in your sleep. All right, we've got the pressure continuing. Hamma is finding a lot of comfort in that parabola. The question is what this rush on False King can do.
It is getting some sneaky angles in, especially on Ramen Bowl, as it is following the curvature of the stage and coming in at a lot of unexpected places. False King in the red, but with rush, he may turn this around. Landing that damage, putting Hamma down at a similar punch-apart health total. But Hamma now has rush advantage.
He sure does, but he whiffs it.
False King gets the blocked chip damage, putting him a little lower, still within one punch.
15 seconds remaining and only one punch.
Ooh,
There
and
it
the
is.
parabola finishes it.
That is Hammer taking the
Hammer
next victory.
taking that round 3, putting this at 2-1. Very good use of an unexpected arm there, Hammer. Especially on Ramen Bowl. I think that did a lot more work than anyone would have expected out of a parabola.
Very, very good play there. It is good to see some relatively unusual arms, things that you don't see as often as others, coming into play, being used well, and actually being the thing that turns the tide in a match. Good stuff. Fammy Tom, I believe there is available bracket reset.
Yes, there is bracket reset in this tournament, so...
So False King would have to win this best of 5 and another best of 5 afterwards.
Okay, but we are going back to spring. We'll see if this stage choice proves to be in False King's favor once more.
And if Hammer can lock this down, though, that is going to be the end of the tournament. So False King needs to take this right now. This is his last chance to stay in the running for this event.
Hammer getting a Chuck stun into knockdown.
Lacacism saying, now bring a Guardian in. I don't see either of these players getting good use out of a Guardian for their playstyle. But I respect
There is
the
definitely some
boldness.
strong Guardian play that can be done, especially against these high-pressure gloves. But I don't think it's suiting for either of these players. We'll see what Parabola does on this. It is able to keep up the pressure well and gets the shield break for 75 damage with the extra 20.
Yeah, that's not something you'll turn around or turn away if you can get it. Shield
False
breaks
King.
aren't always the
Ooh.
answer, but that worked well. And only 80
Hammer
damage
getting,
through.
I believe, a shield dash he may or may not have been expecting to go that way. False King trying to stay really close quarters here so Hammer's Parabola doesn't have a chance to sneak up on him. Getting an exchange of hits. Hammer down in the red, but False King only a few punches behind.
And Hammer with Rush Online using it.
And
Might have
getting that full
expected him to
damage. Is that
hold.
going to be the finish? Not quite.
One
Both.
hit range. First one to land a hit, and
And
there
it
it
was
is from
Hammer.
Hammer.
Sneaking that fun chuck in around
The
the
rush
side.
was worth it. You might have
Wow.
questioned it, using that rush when he was that far behind, but boy, did he take that momentum and bring it through to the end of that match.
But False King gets rush lead here, gets shocked by Parabola. Hammer getting a chance to charge. And a freeze and goes for the 1-2. Hammer trying to pull a sneaky. False King staying close range, getting that rush in.
He sure is. That is
Knocking
something
Hammer
False
down to
King is
half.
great at doing. But Hammer does still have his rush online, and that is only a 1 bar of hit point lead that False King has.
And gets the shield break, but only 40 points of damage from that whole exchange. But lets Hammer keep up the pressure. Forcing False King back so they can get a little bit more distance so Hammer can decide the pacing of this match. False King getting a shock into grab onto the springboards, getting an extra 20 points of damage and a rush online.
And that rush could be everything that is needed to turn this one in his favor. He still has the HP lead, though. Oh,
Ooh,
and
using
Hammer.
Lola's shield dash to avoid that rush. Perfectly
Fantastic.
timed use of the character ability there. Getting a grab
into the
Yabuki
Yabuki
rush.
to win everything.
And that is the Outlaw Skirmish. Hammer has taken it with his 3 rounds. Really turning around that stage selection on False King, who had been previously successful on Spring Stadium. Very good stuff.
Callback to the start of ARMS. The first ARMS tournament we ever saw was won by Yabuki himself, and Hammer throwing in the tribute saying, you know what, this is going back to its roots. We are on Spring Stadium winning this tournament with a Yabuki combo off the springboard. Very, very well played. That is exactly what you want to see to make that happen. Good
Very
stuff.
excellent play from both players. We saw a lot of really high-intensity aggression here, some excellent boxing, some cool arm choices, and cool stage choices thanks to this tournament. Big shout out to Era for putting this tournament together and running it like one of many events on Network Era. It was a lot of fun to commentate and get a chance to stream a neat tournament like this. Seeing some hype matches on stages like Spring Stadium and Snake Park and Ramen Bowl. Been seeing a lot of cool stuff today for sure.
Oh no, this is a fantastic event, and I am so glad that we got to work alongside Era to make this one happen. I think we can all say that this was some worthwhile play out here. Interesting to see some changes in the stages that are being played from the normal setups in elimination tournaments. Very well played by all of our participants, and you got to see some names moving up in the bracket that you don't normally see. Congratulations to Hamma jumping into the chat here. I gotta say, man, it was great to see you making a run of it here, making some dominant plays out there, and going back to some unusual things like your favorite parabola.
I'm glad to see that my joking call out about the parabola ended up being a really good counterpick arm for you.
It did everything you
needed. That was some cool stuff. Always excellent play from False King, really showing that aggressive twin tail boxing and how those old reliable arms can really take you pretty far.
Well, on that note, we are going to be wrapping up the stream here shortly, but I gotta say, this was some fantastic stuff. I am looking forward to doing it again. This was a great tournament, and if
we
this
get
becomes
another
a
one
thing,
of these in the future, we'll be glad to help out if we are able, because yeehaw!
And the final call out to all of you here who have heard it before, this was in partnership with Network Era and Casual Arms. We are working together to bring more things to the arms community and get some good stuff happening. Consider yourself posted, Era. We will be glad to work this again with you in the future.
Yeah, scheduling may be tricky, but at least while quarantine stuff is happening, we are available in this Friday slot. So potentially we could make this a more regular event in the future. We don't know. We'll see.
And Flesh Eater saying, and I'm plopping it up on screen for you, remember, we have
one more
another tournament coming down tomorrow.
Tomorrow!
So if you like arms and you like tournaments with different formats. Join us tomorrow for the Casual Scramble. This is
Scramble.
The 17th iteration of
17th.
Sign-ups are open. We're going to get a link for you here in the chat so you can sign up on Challenge.
There's a link. Challenge.com/casualscramble17. And Flesh posting a link to the Discord in the chat. Hamma says he is going to be posting his stuff from today's tournament, and we will be posting the VOD for this on YouTube later as well. Era's saying, have a good night, and she'll see us tomorrow for the tournament, because Era will be helping us run that as well. She is an amazing TO. Cool stuff.
All right, you guys all take care. We will catch you next time. Until then, have fun with whatever you are doing in your life. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And have a good night.
Bye!